Can everybody just, even the most hardcore MAGA, and there's a lot of you in here, right? There's a lot of you in here every day. I know you love me. I know you find me charming, devilishly handsome, super smart, obviously humble. You obviously know that this is a cover-up, right? I mean, you obviously know. And a lot of people want to criticize the Biden administration for not releasing more information. Okay, now we can have that conversation objectively. Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced on June 28th, 2022. And then there was an appeals process. So information was released by the Biden administration, and we can go through that list. I'm going to read to you, this is information that I just found. This is interesting because this is from the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. Okay, this relates to the case. Mods, can you guys look up Crow with that letter that I just read? Thank you, friends. Appreciate you. So this comes from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. It's dated June 28th, 2022. The headline is, Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to abuse minors. Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, announced that Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced today in Manhattan Federal Court by U.S. Circuit Judge Allison Nathan to 240 months in prison for her role in a scheme to exploit sexually and abuse multiple minor girls with J.E. over the course of a decade. Maxwell was previously found guilty on December 29th, 2021. Okay, that first part. The first 2 years of the Biden administration, this case was still going on. After her sentencing, the appeal process happened. Okay? So there was no way that they could release any information other than what they did in January of last year after it became unsealed. Okay? So there's that. There's one element. Do I think there are people that, like, for example, do I think Bill Clinton's on the list? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. I do believe that he's on the list. Okay? So I'm going to read the rest of this letter, but I think it's just really important to frame this because everybody's like, well, how come Biden didn't release it? He had it. Well, he didn't have it, actually, because we do still have, responsibilities under the law, and we are expected to kind of follow the law. I know people forgot about that, but here we are. So this is the whole hootenanny, as my grandmother would say. Following a 1-month jury trial, found guilty on the 29th of December 2021, sentenced on June 28, 2022. So during that time, no information could be released. There was an appeal process, which automatically kicks in. So that process extended, and then the information was made available under release from the judge in January of 2024, and information was shared. And I'll tell you what was shared. We can talk about it. Following a 1-month jury trial of her sentence of conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal acts, conspiracy to transport minors to participate in illegal acts, schmex acts, transporting minors to participate in illegal schmex acts, sex trafficking, conspiracy, and trafficking of a minor. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said, quote, today's sentence holds Ghislaine Maxwell accountable for perpetrating heinous crimes against children. This sentence sends a strong message that no one is above the law, and it is never too late for justice. We again express our gratitude to Epstein and Maxwell's victims for their courage in coming forward, in testifying at trial, and in sharing their stories as part of today's sentencing. Again, very important point, right? If we just believed fucking women, we wouldn't be in this place. But victims came forward, testified during the trial, and the evidence gathered during the trial, based on witness testimony, she was convicted. Similarly with J.E. So then, shouldn't we want to hear from the victims in any future litigation? Right? Would make sense. Do you want to hear from Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted predator? Or would you rather hear from the victims? Now, I know the answer to that. But the right despises women, and they wouldn't believe them no matter what, right? No matter what, okay? According to the allegations in the indictment, court documents, and evidence presented at trial, this is information that Pam Bondi has, okay? This is information that is publicly available that Pam Bondi has. When she says, I don't have information or there's no list or anything like that, that is a bold-faced fucking lie. Okay? From at least 1994 up to and including in or about 2004, Ghislaine Maxwell, again, during that period of time, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were buddies. From 1994 up to 2004, they were buddies. Okay? Ghislaine Maxwell assisted, facilitated, and participated in Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of minor girls by, among other things, helping Epstein to recruit trigger warnings. Okay, I'll throw that out now. I'll throw that out there now. My apologies for not saying that in advance. Trigger warnings. By helping, among other things, helping Epstein to recruit, groom, and ultimately abuse victims known to Maxwell and Epstein to be under the age of 18. The victims were as young as 14 years old when they were groomed and abused by Maxwell and Epstein, both of whom knew that their victims were in fact minors. As part and in furtherance of their scheme to abuse victims, Maxwell and Epstein enticed and caused minor victims to travel to Epstein's residences in different states, which Maxwell knew and intended would result in their grooming for and subjection to SA. Maxwell enticed and groomed minor girls to be abused in multiple ways. For example, Maxwell attempted to befriend certain victims by asking them about their lives, their schools, their families, and taking them to movies or on shopping trips. Maxwell also acclimated victims to Epstein's conduct simply by being present for victim interactions with Epstein. So she gained their trust, groomed them, which put victims at ease by providing the assurance and comfort of an adult woman who seemingly approved of Epstein's behavior. Additionally, Epstein offered to help some victims by paying for travel and or educational opportunities, and Maxwell encouraged certain victims to accept Epstein's assistance. As a result, victims were made to feel indebted and believe that Maxwell and Epstein were trying to help them. Man, oh man. Maxwell also normalized and facilitated SA for a victim by discussing sexually themed topics, undressing in front of the victim, being present when the victim was undressed, and encouraging the victim to massage Epstein. As Maxwell and Epstein intended, these grooming behaviors left minor victims vulnerable and susceptible to abuse by Epstein. Maxwell was then present for certain encounters between minor victims and Epstein, such as interactions where a minor victim was undressed and ultimately was present for the sex acts themselves perpetrated by Epstein and others on minor victims. That abuse included sexualized messages during which a minor victim was fully or partially nude, as well as group sexualized massages of Epstein and others involving a minor victim where Maxwell was present. In some instances, Maxwell participated in the abuse of the minor victims. Ultimately, minor victims were subjected to SA that included, among other things, the touching of a victim's breasts or genitals, placing a schmex toy such as a vibrating device on a victim's genitals, directing a victim to touch E while he did his thing, and directing a victim to touch E's, G's. Yeah. Maxwell and Epstein's victims were groomed or abused at Epstein's residence in New York, Florida, and New Mexico, as well as Maxwell's residence in London, England. In the earlier phase of the conspiracy, from at least approximately 1994 through 2002, again, a period of time in which Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were buddies, hanging around together, palling around, traveling on flights, going to parties together. Maxwell and E identified vulnerable girls, typically from single mother households and difficult financial circumstances. This earlier phase required the defendant and Epstein to identify one girl at a time to target for grooming and abuse. In the later phase, from approximately 2001 until at least approximately 2004, Maxwell and E enticed and recruited and caused to be enticed and recruited minor girls to visit Epstein's Palm Beach residence to engage in acts with Epstein and others, after which Epstein, Maxwell, or another employee of Epstein's would give the victims hundreds of dollars in cash. Maxwell and Epstein encouraged one or more of these victims to travel with Epstein with the intention that the victim engage in acts with Epstein and others. Moreover, and in order to maintain and increase his supply of victims, Maxwell and Epstein also paid certain victims to recruit additional girls to be similarly abused by Epstein. In this way, Maxwell and Epstein created a network of underage victims for Epstein to sexually exploit. In addition to the prison sentence, Maxwell, 60, was sentenced to 5 years of supervised release in order to pay a $750,000 fine. That's the story. Okay? So I don't want anybody thinking that, Ghislaine Maxwell is a hero. She can come and blow the lid off that. She's a fucking monster. She's an absolute fucking monster. Okay? A monster. There's no other way to describe it other than that. So the question then is, why would Ghislaine Maxwell testify to anything unless she can get a sweet commutation, reduction in sentencing, whatever it might be? The answer, in my opinion, is she wouldn't. She wouldn't. We don't need her to testify because we have the goods. I would like to hear from the victims. Many of them have said they're happy to go public. Many of them have gone public. Many of them had said, well, I'll sit before Congress and testify. Many of them have said that. So this is why when I said yesterday that I believe this whole thing is justification to initiate the 25th Amendment to remove Donald Trump from office. Because it's blatantly a cover-up. There's no other way you can describe it other than they're covering it up. Now, there's some little nuggets here and there. Don't forget, the twice impeached, 4-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudulent convicted felon name on a list is not the brightest bulb on the tree. So when he is in his safe spaces, wherever they may be, he's oftentimes unaware of the things that he says. So I've got an interesting little bit of sound for you because it relates to the what I think is a big story that's been underreported, that the FBI recruited 1,000 or so employees to comb through everything that they had and flag Donald Trump's name. Again, that is information that is in possession of the FBI, and Pam Bondi lied to the American people. We know this information exists. We have it from the court records. We know that there are names. We know that there are black books. It was addressed in what I just read to you, specifically as it relates to the grand jury testimony. Now, the grand jury testimony, because what the right thinks now, especially the Trump administration, try to convince their base that, oh yeah, we're going to request that the grand jury information be released. That doesn't have to happen. The judge has discretion as to whether or not that information is released. We know 99.9% of the information that's available already. Right? We know that. We know there's nothing new there other than the names of victims potentially. There's nothing new there. So again, it's another fucking distraction. Stay focused, friends. Okay? I got you. I'm going to talk about this every fucking day. Every day. There's a lot of other shit that we will address, and we will. But we're going to talk about this every day because this is a massive fucking cover-up. And there's no other way to describe it. So, as I mentioned earlier, because the twice impeached, 4-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudulent convicted felon name on a list is not the brightest bulb in the tree, he slips up at times and says things that would prove his guilt. This, for example, okay, this is some wild sound, but you guys can tell me what you think he's talking about. Here you go.
They were run by Chris Wray, and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, right? They've been running these files, and so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Oh, so many of the things that they found with you are fake, but everybody else isn't? Okay.
And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake.
One more time.
They were run by Chris Wray, and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, right? They've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake.
Oh. So, what do we know? Just in the 20 minutes we've been going this morning, we went through the list that the letter that Pam Bondi sent Cash Patel, saying, I've got a bunch of information that includes client lists, phone records, flight logs, etc. So she lied about that. We've got the grand jury, the statement from the U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York when Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced, that included a description of her crimes with obviously references to other people. We have that. We now know that the FBI brought in 1,000 staffers to comb through every single document related to the case, which means they are in possession of the documents. Why would they be tasked with flagging any references to Donald Trump? Funny. And then we have Donald Trump himself saying everything that they found was a hoax as it relates to me. Do you get it? Do you understand? Are there people, are there some of you out there now that believe that he's not on the list? Here's a question for you. So you believe that Bill Clinton, and I believe that Bill Clinton's on the list, and Andrew, Prince Andrew, obviously is on the list. We know that. And all these other people, you believe that they're all on the list. The Hollywood elites, the ones that you want to be on the list. And you think that those people are just the Democrats. So you honestly believe that he's not. But he's the only one that we have pictures, 47 or so separate pictures. There's new pictures that are coming out now. He's the one that basically said that Jeffrey's a great guy. Oh, God damn it. Okay. Get rid of that. All right. That's fine. He's the one that was palling around. He's the one that referred to Jeffrey Epstein as a great guy. Jeffrey Epstein referred to Donald Trump as his closest friend. So all of that doesn't exist with anybody else that's on the list. You think they're on it, but he's not? Can you make that make sense? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. How does that track in people's minds? What's this? Yeah, the pictures are AI, I'm sure. Good morning.
Foundation. He also primarily donated to Democrats, specifically Hillary Clinton.
Hold on. I missed the first part of your statement.
Yeah, so I heard you say that Donald Trump was pictured with him, and like he's the one connected to him. He's the only one we know is connected to the island guy.
I didn't say that. It's not what I said.
Perfect.
What I said was, hold on, stop talking. Take a deep breath. It's okay. What I said is there are people who claim that Donald Trump is not on the list, but other people are, but yet we have more evidence. So do you believe that he's on the list or not?
That's not true at all.
It's not true?
No, who did he donate to and who did he fly around for the Clinton Foundation?
Slow down, pump the brakes. We have, so you don't think
you said he's most connected to Trump. That's not even.
No, he's not. That's your opinion.
Who did he have a painting of in his apartment in New York? Bill Clinton.
My guy, do you believe that Donald Trump was on the list? Yes or no? Believe he's in the client list?
I don't believe there's a client list.
You don't. You don't believe there's a client list. Did you? No,
I read the flight logs.
Right?
No, there's a black book too.
Don't forget, there were years where people said, "Oh no, he wasn't even on the flight logs," and then
I don't think people understand what a client list is. Like a contact. What you guys want a client list now? So
you don't believe that? Again, that's not my perspective. That's what was told of us. We were told. She was talking about the client list,
right? But listen, what's that gonna do for you when people like you? Hold on, sir. What's that gonna do for you when people like you deny that the blame here?
Again, if Bill Clinton's on the list, I want him arrested and thrown under the jail. Can you say the same thing about Donald Trump?
You can't even address that.
My guy, stop talking. Stop talking.
Stop talking. You're giving too many facts. Stop it.
No, I have said this from the beginning. If Bill Clinton, Ophelia,
It's Sarah.
Anyone.
Stop talking.
Anyone.
Stop talking.
Who's more connected, though?
Again,
Clinton or Trump?
Did Jeffrey
Clinton Foundation.
Stop talking. Did Jeffrey Epstein ever say that that Bill Clinton was his best friend?
Friend, since he flew the most on the Lolita Express.
Did he say? Did
he say the most?
Did he say that Donald Trump was his best friend?
Sure, but now answer this: who flew on the plane more, Clinton or Trump?
Does that matter?
Yes, that matters a lot.
Why?
Who flew on the plane a lot more? Two Democrats.
Alligator, we get it.
Who do you have a painting of at his house?
Can you shut up for 20 seconds?
Dude, you're a fucking idiot. You're getting shit on in your own show.
Oh, no, dude. For somebody to have a name like Alligator Alcatraz, why don't you turn your camera on? Let's see how brave you are. Turn your camera on so we can see how you apologize for rapists. Go ahead. There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a great apologist for you. You have a day, fucknut. Is part of this, which I believe he is, if Bill Clinton's name is connected to these crimes against women, then lock his fucking ass up that hard. Once again, this is what you're going to get now, okay? This is what you're going to get from these people who cannot, and they voted for it. They voted for it. It's fucking wild. It's crazy. Torta, how are you today?
Good. So your name's Factsstillmatter, but when facts hit you in the face, you run like a little bitch. That's crazy.
What fact? So what facts?
Flew on the plane a lot more times. See, slow down. Be quiet. Stop it. Shh.
Listen. How many times do you have to hear me say this? I'll say it slowly for you. If
Clinton, which is fundamentally wrong and disingenuous.
Again, that's your opinion.
You just have
can you stop talking?
Said not sure.
Do we have records of that? So from what we know,
records that Bill Clinton flew on his plane more times than Donald Trump. We have
records of
party.
We also have records. We also have records of Donald Trump being on the flight as well. We also have records of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein palling around together for 15 years. Stop talking. We also have records of Jeffrey Epstein referring to Donald Trump as his best friend. We also have records of Donald Trump being named in a lawsuit filed by Katie Johnson that he and
what the fuck are you talking about? That's
so you don't believe women, right? So you don't believe women? No, it's Katie Johnson. You don't believe women, right? It's Katie Johnson. You don't believe women, right?
It's a Jane Doe in the You don't remember?
You don't believe women?
Idiot.
You don't believe women?
Do you?
Okay, you're fucking done. Another one. Can you imagine trying to defend this shit? Can you imagine having such a feeble life that you're gonna defend this shit? Hello, Eric.
Hello. I think you're missing something here for the...
Wait. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. What am I missing specifically?
When Trump went down to his place to let them know what was going on, he was sick, and appalled by what he saw. And the 3rd District of Manhattan verified that Trump did go there on Epstein's Island, and that it was out of U.S. territory. It was very little that
so you don't think that Donald Trump is on the list.
Any children.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Well, who would go to the 3rd District Court of Manhattan? And he also called the Queen of England.
What evidence do you have that Donald Trump went to the courthouse to make complaints against Jeffrey Epstein?
AP News.
Tell me the source of the article. Tell me the name of the article. Tell me what's in there.
If you Google it, you'll see it.
No, I'm not going to do your work for you. You made the. Why are you? You're yelling now.
The Queen of England.
You're yelling now.
Called the Queen of England.
You're yelling now.
And look what happened. You
there it is.
Fucking faggot.
There it is. Once again, I just want to remind people of something. Can you imagine getting this guy from being a sexual predator? Because anybody who has any kind of heart or whatever, we just want the list. So instead, they're going to create these narratives in their pea brains that it's everybody else. How many times do people have to hear? I don't care if my long lost friend from childhood is on the fucking list. But for you people to literally sit here, he's on the fucking list, and you don't fucking care? Jesus. I know, right? Men aren't emotional. It's just God. You people are so fucked up. It's just crazy. I can't even imagine having that much.
You.
Fine, thank you.
So you actually just said what I was coming up to say, that it's you say something bad about their dear leader and how they crash out. Those last two guys were just I can't even. What?
They're emotional. They're scared, soft, and weak, and they don't want to have their entire universe crumble around them, which it already is. That's why.
Yeah, but remember, Kamala was
all y'all women get too emotional. You guys can't handle anything, right? That's what they believe. Yeah.
No, you literally said what I came up to say. It's just unbelievable. They're getting worse and worse every day. I feel like I see on this app. There's more.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. They are getting worse and worse every single day. There's no 8:30 in the morning, and you're angering and you're calling me all kinds of names because you just can't handle the heat. Once again, they're trying to say, well, Clinton's on the list, Clinton Foundation. Yeah, we know. We understand that. We don't care. What we're saying is that anybody connected to this should be thrown under the fucking jail. Well, fucking
cool. So it's unbelievable. I couldn't do what you do. So thanks for putting up with them. It's appreciated.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for being here, Devo. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
What? It's so wild. We get it. Hi, Mandy. How are you today?
Great. Listen, Listen, I just want to say they keep talking about the flight logs, and, the point is anyone that's on that flight logs more than once is complicit.
Just because somebody is on a flight does not necessarily mean that they're guilty of these crimes. I hear what you're saying. I mean, we can draw our own conclusions. This blanket statement. Although I agree with you, but I think we have to be careful of that.
I understand, but
yeah,
I'm going to assume that they would have seen what was going on, and to your point, have been to that island and not understand what was going on, and then to return, I draw my conclusion.
I agree. I don't disagree. I'm just trying to be. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate you. See you later. Yeah. Again, just wow. I don't know if I can deal with all of that today. I might lose my fucking mind by the time we get to know. Then it's going. Hey, Mac, how are you today? Mac, you're teacupping. Everybody, we just got flagged, but if you guys wouldn't mind tapping like crazy, liking is loving, sharing is caring, please consider just tapping and sharing, and you guys know the drill. Appreciate you very much.
Good morning. Welcome back. Can you imagine being so pitifully weak that you get angry and then you report a lie? It could have been something I said. Who the fuck knows? I don't care. Thank you for coming back. You guys know the drill. Tapping's clapping, sharing's caring, liking is loving. We never know, right? We never know. Let's give the crowd a chance to kind of shuffle on in. The regular crowd shuffles in. I'm not sure if you've seen, by the way, since we're talking about music today, the Billy Joel "So It Goes" documentary. If you're a Billy Joel fan, even if you're not, it's great. It's a great watch. I think it's 2 parts, like 4 hours. Crazy good. I mean, we know how amazing the Piano Man is, but man, you forget about how just he was at the top. He was at the top of the fucking list for sure. Everybody keep tapping. Yep. Everybody keep tapping. All right. I'm going to bring up Chris. Let's cut to the chase first. Could the Red Sox figure out a way to get a hit every now and then, Chris? I'm just saying.
Oh, they need a hitter. I mean, when they traded Devers and they didn't get a hitter in return, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about baseball right now, but again, so I can. Hey, good morning, brother. How are you?
Good morning. First of all, great Hermie T-shirt. I love it.
That's right. I'm a dentist. Yep.
It's Mercury in retrograde because the last 2 days on these lives have been absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
they're all out over the place.
I was thinking about that last night. I'm glad you said that. I mean, think about how angry we've seen people on the right. Now, I personally believe it's because they are realizing, although they're unwilling to admit it, they're realizing that they have been lied to. Finally, they're finally realizing that they've been lied to and they can't handle it. So then they expect us to defend Bill Clinton and anybody else is on the list, and nobody's fucking doing it. And they don't know what to do about that.
Exactly.
So it's like,
exactly. Don't talk over Marblehead, and they're running, they're scrambling because, again, like you said, say Clinton. Yeah, okay, yeah, Clinton's on the list.
Yeah, lock him the fuck up.
Who else? Go ahead.
But yeah, exactly.
What absolutely kills me, out of every person's name who's ever been mentioned in associating with Epstein, the one whose long time sexual record, as far as how they are as a person, who would point, oh yeah, he's definitely involved, would be Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at him wanting to have sex with his daughter, admitting to going backstage at the beauty pageant, starting his own modeling firm to get young girls there. You know, whole, all that. You just look at the long list. I mean, you go, yeah, he's involved. He's definitely involved. But they don't want to admit it. But see, right now what they're doing, and this is very interesting. It worries me, but hopefully what the Democrats do is go after try and get the victims to come. He's trying to make a deal now with Maxwell to have her testify, let her out of jail, say, I don't know, I've never met Donald Trump in my life, whatever, just to try to say, oh, no, he wasn't there. And that's what they're doing. Of course, another one of the clients is her lawyer, Dershowitz.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, the whole
that's I know. By the way, New Jersey 196753, you asked the question, why didn't Biden release the info? We talked about that earlier. You probably missed it because we were on the other account. But the information, she wasn't sentenced until June 28th of 2022, which means you can't release information because there's an ongoing court case. Plus, she was subject to appeal, which again means that they couldn't release the information. And then the Biden administration did release what was released by the courts in January of last year. So sorry to tell you, but they did.
Plus, grand jury testimony is usually not released unless it's released by a judge. I was on a grand jury for 8 months, so I actually was in a grand jury. I know how it works. So, but no, I mean it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand how anyone. Well, I'd say reasonable, but they're not reasonable because they still defend him. Because like yesterday when you were talking about how can you defend anyone who voted for Trump, I agree with you, especially on the third time. I can kind of forgive time too. But after January 6th, that's it. If you voted for him after there's something wrong with you.
I'll give a pass on the first. I'll give it a pass on the first one, and I might even consider giving a pass on the second one only because people vote for the incumbency. Generally speaking, people are just misinformed. We have to remember that the overwhelming majority of Americans are not as attuned to what's happening in the day to day as we are. No. Right. So people just go about their day. But anybody who seems to care, if they could literally decide they're going to vote for Donald Trump 3 times and then realize why they're so angry now. Again, I just want people to remind themselves what happened on on the main account this morning. People were angry, calling me all kinds of slurs because I'm saying I agree with you that Bill Clinton's on the list. Trump's on the list too. Oh, you fucking Trump.
Right. Well, it's the whole. Well, my guy's not on the list, but your guy is. Well, no, my guy is, and your guy is too. But they don't want to hear that. No.
Yeah.
Your leader can't be on the list. He's infallible.
Exactly.
You can't have it. But it's just, it boggles my mind. It really does. It's how angry. But I think you're 100% right. They're so angry because they know he's all over this list.
Correct.
And they
That's correct.
Don't want to admit that they voted for a pedo.
Correct.
But
that's exactly right.
Like I said, and I looked up the last guy, look it up as far as him going to the 3rd district and all that. There's no such story about that.
Oh, of course there's not.
I know there isn't, but I just wanted to see if there was something they were trying to put out there. But no, there's nothing.
Of course. I know.
He's a pedo, but I hope what the Democrats do when they pull all this crap together and they get Maxwell to testify, I hope because there are some of the victims who are willing to come forward.
There's a lot, so we're going to play some of their sound in just a minute. But thanks for jumping in today, Chris. I appreciate
problem.
You, buddy.
Take care, Steve. Bye.
See you later, kid. Take care. All right. Okay. I'm going to try try this. Good morning, Bubba. What's on your mind?
So thank you for having me back on. I'm kind of rushing to get out the door. I just wanted to make a quick statement. And that type of really angry, volatile reaction, it comes from a place of defensiveness. The reason why they could really care less about him being on that list, a lot of people are literally just projecting. They're projecting, they're defending someone that they know to be a horrible person because they themselves are also horrible. In a lot of cases, these people are just defending this guy because they're projecting defending themselves. And I just wanted to say that.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's all part of the whole psyop that is the Trump administration. And I've got some, I have an interesting experiment that I did using AI to kind of break that down. But thanks for that, Bubba. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Yep. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah, we know it's a psyop. We know, we get it. we understand. We get it. We know why they are the way they are. But anyway, Michael, how are you today?
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind? Okay, what's on your mind?
Are you who'd you vote for?
In 2024?
Yes.
I voted for Kamala Harris proudly. Who did you vote for?
Trump.
Did you vote for him 3 times?
Yes.
So are you regretting your vote?
I am independent now.
So you were a registered Republican?
Yes.
Okay. So do you regret your vote?
No, that would make me a hypocrite if I did.
No, you can have regret without being a hypocrite.
There's a good word I'm looking for about the vote. Maybe I was, I'm apprehensive about it. Would that be a good word?
Apprehensive to admit that you might have been wrong?
Something like that.
Okay.
The thing is,
okay. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes. Okay. Sure.
Okay. So when Donald Trump says that everything that makes him look bad is a hoax, do you believe him when he says that?
No.
Okay. So when did you realize that everything that he tells you is a hoax isn't, and that he was lying to you? When did you realize that?
It was it's been about 2 months now.
Okay. So then you were duped, right? To vote for him as many times as you did. So that would be you regretting your vote. So it's okay to admit it. It's okay to admit it. No, but I'm just saying it's okay to admit that you regret your vote.
Well, you're trying to baptize us to be Democrats and stuff, you know.
I'm not. I'm a registered independent in my state, actually a progressive, and I'm ultra critical of the Democratic Party. I also know that there's only one party, and as weak as it can be, who stands for the things that I stand for. So I'm asking you.
Let me ask you something. Excuse me. When you're independent, can you vote in any party, any race?
In my state, it's a bit unique. I'm a registered progressive in my state because the Progressive Party is an actual party in my state. I vote progressive, but I'm technically an independent. I'm a pragmatic progressive, is what I am. Meaning that there are things that I truly care about, that I stand for, that I've been fighting for years. That I know the only way to get some of those things done is to vote Democrat.
What do you think about that mayor candidate in New York?
Zoran Mamdani?
Yeah.
I think he's a candidate that has listened to the voices of New Yorkers, and he stands for things that they stand for. He's a democratic socialist. He wants free public transportation. I don't have an issue with that. He wants rent control on apartments. I don't have an issue with that. Do you?
You're a democratic socialist, pretty much, right?
Can you answer my question? I answered yours. Do you have an issue with free public transportation?
Free everything, yeah. You know, free.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. Do you have an issue with free public transportation?
If the people are vetted, yes. Which means
if the people are vetted, what does that mean?
That means that if people are working, they have a job, they have their own money, then people that don't have, I mean, yeah.
So what do you have to do then? Do you have to fill out when you hop on the bus on Fifth Avenue, you've got to answer a series of questions?
No, you sign up beforehand, you know, because if you're gonna have a free bus ride,
it's public transportation. Isn't the point to just be able to hop on the bus? You're opposed to that?
There'll be too much chaos because with all the crime and everything,
too much. All the crime where? You mean like in Republican cities?
Like Los Angeles, Mayor Bass.
The crime in LA? What's the crime rate in LA?
Well, you heard about we had the riots where she let the city run amok and Trump had to come in.
Really? So what happened? Do you live out there?
I live 17 miles from there, and I saw, even in my city, they attacked a hotel because they thought
they attacked it. Who attacked it? Who attacked it?
I guess I call him Antifa. I guess the agitator.
Antifa?
Yeah.
Well, the agitator. So when did the violence really kick off, Michael? Do you know?
I remember I was at the airport on Friday. It must have been about maybe a good month.
It's when ICE showed up. It's when the National Guard showed up. There were no riots. There were like a 2-block area where people were pissed off because people were being rounded up and off the streets. Do you believe that ICE should just be rounding up people? Do you believe it when Tom Homan says that we're going to use the color of a person's skin to help identify them? Do you believe that?
Well, I haven't heard him say that, so I can't attest to it.
Okay, so if I played you the sound where he said that, one of the things that they are looking at is the color of a person's skin, their appearance. Do you support that?
You have the audio of that?
I'm asking you, do you? Because I'm not going to play it unless you support. Would you agree with that?
Of course not. That's my people. I'm Hispanic.
Okay, well, that's the people that you voted for.
Yes, but nobody thought it would be this level. He has surpassed the H-man.
We knew it was going to be this level, my guy. We told you guys this. We told you this. People for years have been telling you exactly what was going to happen, and it happened. It is happening. We knew. Why didn't you know?
We're just talking about the last year. I'm not talking going back to 2015.
I'm talking about we've been telling you guys for years that this is what Donald Trump wants. He wants to create a police state. He wants to militarize law enforcement. He wants to round up everybody. Stephen Miller even said we should be going to 7-Eleven and Home Depot. Why? Are there criminals now shopping? Why are people not getting their Miranda rights? Why are people not getting due process?
Hold on, I told you. Trump is a supreme leader. Okay?
Do you like that?
No, I'm trying to tell you something. When the three things I didn't like what he did I already tell you the three things that he did? I mean, you're always interrupting, so I can't remember if I told you or not.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, did I tell you the three things I didn't like about Trump that changed my stance on Trump? Have I told you already?
Go for it. Tell me.
Okay, the first thing is when he threatened the Ayatollah on Air Force One and to the world on camera live, and that said to me, that is something wrong with that guy. You don't do stuff like that. Number two, He said he wanted his subjects to stand tall like Kim Jong-un. Yep. He goes, I want my subjects to stand tall. And it took me a second. And then he's talking about me, subject to stand tall like he's some type of...
But he said that a while ago, and you voted for him again in 2024.
As I told you, if you were listening, a lot of people don't listen to me. I said it's been recent, like 1 or 2 months ago.
Right, but he said the thing about Kim Jong-un. He said that after his visit during the first administration when he talked about Kim Jong-un and how his people stand to attention. So you knew that. That wasn't just a couple of months ago.
But I only found out about it. I didn't know it at the time when it happened. What I'm saying, I just found out about that.
Why not?
Why not?
Why didn't you know that?
Because I was busy not watching TV, the news 24/7 like you guys do.
I don't watch the news 24/7. I have a company that I run. I do this because it's important to try to educate people like you who are misinformed.
I know, and you do it pretty good. I've seen you here before. You're very professional. I like it.
Thanks. So, but why didn't you know that?
We didn't know the level. I'm telling you, right now we're seeing like 1984, 1942. Hey, wait. Well, you know the book 1984. I'm sure you read that.
Sure
right?
do. Sure did.
That is happening now. Camera in every corner. We're gonna all dress the same. It's gonna be. Oh hell! Hold on. Can I change the subject? It's very interesting.
Sure.
I think you're cool. Thank you for not dumping me. You let me talk. I appreciate it. Don't worry about Trump. Don't worry about that. What you have to worry about is Davos. It's called the New World Order. Klaus Schwab. So wait a minute. You've heard of Davos, right?
Yeah, dude. Can you do me a solid? I'm just really curious about something.
Yeah, what happened?
Hold on. Let me. I have to fix this.
If you want to dump me, go ahead and dump me.
No, I want to have a conversation that's rooted in something that's topical. I'm not going to go into the whole Davos NWO sort of bullshit because it's just conspiracy theory, man. It's not a productive conversation. It's just conspiracy. Now, I think what I've learned from our conversation with you this morning is that you've been misinformed about a lot of things, and this is another one. So I'm not going to do that. If you want to have a conversation that's not rooted in conspiracy theory bullshit, we can have it. Otherwise, you can just leave.
Okay, but can I just ask you something, and maybe you could entertain listening to me?
Not if it's related to this whole New World Order crap. No.
Well, I mean, I listened. They have a forum where I listened to it, what they were saying, and it was very frightening.
Goodbye. Oh my God. Anyway, it's just crazy. Oh my God.
Good morning. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. Hi.
So I just want to say, I don't know if you didn't participate in this, but I've been shunned apparently by my own mod community. I don't even know why. I have been the one that's going to be shunned in the commune that I want to create. Thank you for not participating in that. I appreciate it. But everybody else, the fuck?
Well, you did throw us under the bus yesterday. There was a little bit of that.
A little bit, kind of a tiny little bit.
A tiny little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, it's because I don't believe a hot dog is a sandwich. That's exactly right. A hot dog is not a sandwich.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It looks like there's some back reading for Eve. So
just a tiny little bit, my dear. Tiny little bit.
Well,
thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I thought I'd give you a little break after these guests this morning. My goodness. Well, good morning, everyone. Y'all know that I'm here to remind you to please support our fabulous hostess with the mostest. He's our dedicated dynamo, delivering dependable data daily with dignity, depth, and decency. And he's here every day with that fiery feral fist for freedom, bringing you facts over feelings, because facts still matter, and they always will. So, if you have the means, let's help Fax meet his gift goal in subwaves. Subscriptions are an easy way to show support. I know we're on the backup right now, so if you don't want to get a subscription for 2.0, it's totally understandable, but you do get entered into the weekly raffle giveaway regardless. You can show support directly with the apps in the link tree of his bio, which is a great way to avoid the TikTok tariff. And you can find the Fax HQ and Discord link there as well. You can reach the HQ via factsstillmatter.site, where you can check out all the merch, which is another way that you can show support, but you also get something for yourself as well. Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Remember, y'all, Steve is here for over 20 hours a week just on this show alone. It doesn't include additional shows, show prep, occasional debates, and he does this because he's committed to the community and providing platforms for voices like yours to be heard. So let's show a little love. I'm encouraging y'all to participate in the daily dollar donation drive, the $2 challenge, I guess we're calling it. Giving $1 or $2, it truly adds up, y'all, and it makes a huge impact. Now, if you're just looking for that fun-free forum for the Fax family to frolic, then Discord is the place. If the link in the bio doesn't work initially, try to copy and paste it into a browser. That usually works. If it doesn't, reach out to a moderator. We'll hook you up. When you join, please open a ticket. There's a couple quick questions. It's part of our verification process. And if you have questions about that, you can ask in the unverified lobby. We're happy to walk you through it. Now, if you haven't already, please click the follow or heart me up at the top of the screen next to Fax's name. You can join the team for the cost of a penny. You can do this every day, and it helps the algorithm to keep us on the FYP. Also, under that same tab, you can claim your daily check-ins. I'm told that also helps the algorithm. The main thing that we ask of y'all, though, is to interact in the comments, as well as tapping your little hearts out. It's always free to tap and share out the live. If you don't have any friends, you can just click the copy link. It works the same as a share, and no one will be the wiser. When you have a chance after this live stream, go and check out Steve on all of the other things like Twitch and Substack and Blue Sky, YouTube. Head on over there and like and subscribe to videos there. You can watch the videos for any information you missed, as well as in the Fax HQ episode library. I've compiled a library where you can go back and find the episodes that you missed with ease. And lastly, be kind, smile at a stranger, and have a fuck your feelings kind of day.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. You can join me for the shun party. Have a good day. Love you.
Okay. Whee!
Okay. I wanted to thank you, Eve. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jolie, for your $5. Thank you to who else? Thank you to where is it? Thank you to Alicia. The $2 challenge die has been cast. Thank you guys very, very much. Found the sound specifically regarding Tom Homan. Now, all I can do is give someone the benefit of the doubt, but I find it interesting when pressed to say, do you regret your vote? You're not willing to say that just yet. This is the sound from Tom, the head of the Gestapo, talking about racial profiling.
But people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them.
I'm sorry. You don't need probable cause? In what fucking world do you live in, dude?
Just need this totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation, get articulable facts based on the location, the occupation, their physical appearance.
There it is, right there.
Articulable facts based on the location, the occupation, their physical articulable facts based on the location, the occupation, their physical appearance, their actions. Like a uniformed border station walks up to them.
Okay, so just so you're aware of that, just so you're aware that the borders are is basically instructing his officers. These are the things that you should consider. None of those things are in compliance with the law. RAS, reasonable, articulable suspicion. Just like if you're pulled over, just like if you're questioned in public, law enforcement has to provide you with a reason for doing said. You're just not required to hand over information. Oh yeah, you did catch that, Simon. Here it is again.
Get articulable facts based on the location, the occupation, their physical appearance.
Location, occupation, physical appearance. Again, none of those things are anything that would abide by current fucking law. So you can miss me with your nonsense. Talk about Obama's treason, why don't you? Sure, you want to talk about that? Come on up. Constitution is awesome. Come on up. Send you an invitation. Let's talk about that. Or are you just going to sit in the chat? You're just going to sit in the chat and look like a fool? Or do you want to actually have a conversation and try to learn something? Because we talked about this yesterday. You understand that you're being psyoped by the people that you support. You understand that they're throwing out this information so that you won't pay attention to the fact that he's a fucking predator. You understand that, right? You understand that. Don't you think it's interesting, though, that the investigation into the 2016 election and then the subsequent reports, including Marco Rubio's statement from the Senate Intelligence Committee, said, no, Russia obviously interfered with our election. Did you forget that part? Did you forget that? You must have forgot that part. I mean, just a slight detail. Sorry that happened, but I don't know what to tell you. I figured you wouldn't come up because you're too much of a coward. So Chronicles of Chaotic Kitty. How are you today?
Hey, I just woke up, so I'm not sure yet. But
Okay.
okay, so I have a question, and I apologize if you guys have talked about this, but I feel like it's not something that anyone's bringing up. So now I feel like I just made it up in my head, and I'm crazy. I'm a friendly, by the way. Wasn't it not that long ago that they supposedly released the Epstein files to like a group of right-wing influencers?
Well, that was the claim. So Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice brought in a lot of right-wing influencers to the early days of the administration, back in February, it might have been, and they handed them these binders, and they all went, public with it. That we got the binders, we got the goods. So
I remember the picture.
So it's one of two things: either those binders were completely empty and they were fooled as well, or there's more information that Pam Bondi says she doesn't have.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just curious why nobody's like using that, and maybe it's just because it's so ridiculous, but I'm just curious why nobody's like using that as a talking point anymore when they're trying to say that the Epstein files aren't real and it's a hoax. How come nobody's combating that by saying, well, what did you give to those influencers then?
Well, she was asked that question and she deflected away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, and she deflected away from it, which is, again, this is what's going to happen now. And then we're going to get people who came up here earlier. Anything else, Chronicle? You have anything else you wanted to share?
I just wanted to have a quick reminder, something that guy Michael said. I know that we all know this, but Antifa is not a group of people. It just means that you're anti-fascist. I just feel like every once in a while, people need a reminder of that.
It's for those of you in the back, MAGA. I'll say this to you, and I'll speak slowly. People who truly care about the safety of children, people who truly care about addressing and holding those accountable for perpetrating crimes against children, we don't care who's on the list. So if you think it's a flex that you're talking about Bill Clinton, because you expect the reaction to be from people on the left to defend Bill Clinton, then you're wrong. Or go watch Right-Wing Echo Chambers and figure out a different talking point, because that one doesn't work. We don't care who's on. The question is, why do you? Why do you? Why are so many of you still desperate to trial? He said.
They were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake.
So again, so many of the things that we found were fake with me, but everybody else is guilty. So can you just try to accept the fact that none of us give a fuck who's on the list? What we care about is holding everyone accountable. And you also understand that you're being psyoped while this is happening, right? Them trying to tell you that Barack Obama is a coup leader? Like, what? He created this scenario where he asked, again, I'm not even going to address it because it's so fucking stupid. Mueller report, Durham report, Horowitz report, and even the Senate Intelligence report all said the same thing, that Russia interfered with the election. What you guys are trying to hold on to is a twist of the narrative to say that Obama made a claim that Russians hacked voting machines. Nope. Didn't happen. Never happened. No claim. So why are you so desperate? Why are you so desperate to try to defend it? It's just weird. Whatever. It is what it is, I suppose. Good morning, Jason. How are you today?
Good morning. I was listening to what you guys were saying. Mind you, I didn't vote this year, but I voted for both sides different times on different things that, you know, I felt would be good for the country. So I could care less what this person, that person had done in their personal life. You know, if it's not affecting us, the people, I don't know what the problem is, you know.
You don't think it's a problem that somebody...
What he says he's going to do and does what he said he would do for the people, then cool. You know, that's what he should do.
You don't care about somebody being on a list of assaulting children?
Listen. Think about it this way.
Can you whatever that dude, I can hey my guy, I can barely hear you. I don't know what the hell is going on in the background, but this is crazy.
Well, like I said,
man. I can't hear you, man. You got so much background noise, bro. If you can chill out a little bit, we can have a conversation.
There is no background noise. That's the thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, there is. Are you driving?
No, I'm operating a piece of heavy equipment.
Okay, well then there's background noise, dude. Sorry to tell you, I can barely hear you. Jesus Christ, he's in the lion's den. There's background noise. Just a piece of heavy equipment I'm operating. God damn. Black Light, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. First, let me say I really thoroughly enjoy your lives. I usually sit back in the comment section and just listen.
Thank you.
But today I felt like maybe I should voice how I feel now. I don't know. Are you taking oppositions or anyone?
Yeah, I talk to anybody as long as we can have a respectful conversation.
I'm not an opposition. So
okay.
Let me preface that first. Do you remember when Hillary Clinton had made the statement that Tulsi Gabbard was close to the Russians and that she might be
compromised? Blacklight, where'd you go? You're teacupping. Got to stay on the app. Blacklight, going once. Blacklight, going twice. Got to come back to the app, my guy. If you want to request again, you can. Request again, I'll bring it right back up. Okay, whatever. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Okay, we'll try it. We'll try it again. All right. So if you take a phone call, just hold on a second. If you take a phone call, we can't hear you, so you have to stay on the app. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But anyway, do you remember Hillary Clinton when she was running for president made a statement that Tulsi Gabbard was close to the Russians and that she might have been.
Yeah, I do remember that. There's been all kinds, not just U.S. intelligence services, but global intelligence services. I've always questioned about her connections to foreign governments. So yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that's the thing that questioned me about this whole thing, and the fact that, again, it seems like it's a shiny object for MAGA to pay attention to and not look at what's going on with the Epstein's files. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate your live, and you have a great day.
Thank you, Blacklight. Appreciate you too. See you later. It's a fair point, right? Okay, so I want to help sort of build this case. I see some other folks in the box. Hang tight, guys. I'll get to you. But a simple solution to this problem would be to have any and all information related to this case in the hands of either Congress or the American people or whatever. So that should be easy, right? Now, I mentioned before that Thomas Massie, along with Ro Khanna and 7 or 8 other Republicans, have introduced legislation the Transparency to the Epstein Files Act, right? It's been submitted. Now, I would like to think that because the White House claims to be the most transparent party, the most transparent administration ever. So if that were the case, then you would think that the Speaker of the House then would want to make sure that that's a priority, right? We want to make sure that because we claim to be the most transparent there is, we want to make sure that this information gets out to the American people as soon as possible. Okay, you'd like to think
I speak to the president multiple times a day on a typical day, often, always. And what I know about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable crimes to further public scrutiny. And it would be a very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release of information in a way that is haphazard where they could be easily unmasked.
Got it.
And so you have to be very careful about how you do that. I think we have a moral responsibility to do that. We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely.
Then do it.
And we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is a fine needle to thread. And we could all give ourselves easy political cover and come out and do something in a haphazard fashion. But I would not be able to sleep at night because I know, I know our legal responsibility. I understand what the legal standard is, but more than that, the moral standard. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do it expeditiously. We're going to do it the right way. What is popular isn't always right. What is right isn't always popular. An 8th grade teacher told me that one time. I carried it with me my whole life.
Wow.
We're going to do the right thing here. And the American people at the end will see that we did that in the right way and on the right timetable. Yes, sir.
So let me get this straight, Mike. You believe in transparency. Then why would you send members of Congress home early? Why would you do that? Why would you literally tell Congress to go home early? Is that being transparent? Because if you were truly transparent and you truly wanted people to believe the dribble that you just said, you would say, no one is going home. We are going to bring this bill to the floor and we are going to vote on it. Because that would be transparent, Mike. That would be you saying that we truly do care about getting to the bottom of this, not trying to run and hide. Thomas Massie, who, again, in a bizarro world, we find ourselves agreeing with Thomas Massie more. Thomas Massie, again, the Republican, and Ro Khanna, the Democrat, are the ones that have co-sponsored this piece of legislation. So he addresses this directly, and this is a great soundbite, actually. So this is Thomas Massie in response to what Mike Johnson just said, what I just played for you.
I don't think this issue is going away over August. I think that was the admonition of our speaker in there, was just sort of stick your head in the sand, let the administration maybe dissipate this by dribbling some stuff out. I mean, I'm heavily paraphrasing, but I think that's his strategy, and I don't think it's going to work. I mean, people have wanted these files for years, and then, the president's staff, administration, his own children, his vice president have promised that these files would come out, and now we're being told it's a hoax. It doesn't wash, and whether it's Republican, Democrat, or Independent, across all those categories, it's only like 5 or 6% who don't want the files out.
Do you think the president's at risk of losing his base over this issue?
Well, you don't lose your base over one single thing, but he's eroding his base. More importantly, if we don't take the right side of this issue, it's going to cost us votes in the midterms. People are becoming despondent, they're apathetic. Why would they go vote? If they gave us the House, the Senate, and the White House, and the transparency and justice they were promised doesn't happen, why should they vote in the midterms? And I think it could be a real problem for us. That's why it would behoove the Speaker to bring this to the floor. It would be in the best interest of this institution. Just vote this out, give it to the Senate, and let them do their thing.
Do you think the president is losing trust with members like you who want more transparency?
I wouldn't say he's lost trust. I'm sort of I would say, a different category. The president's consultants have spent $1.8 million against me, and I got a new tweet last night, or a Truth Social last night,
And clearly that was because I've done this Epstein file.
Exactly.
Like, dogs don't bark at parked cars, right? This bill is moving. This is coming to a vote. We've got enough Republican co-sponsors of the bill, twice as many as we need right now, such that when they sign it and every Democrat signs this, we're going to force a vote on it. It's not going away.
It's not going away. And again, this is the sound from Mike Johnson. I'll be right back.
No, but I, as you all know, I speak to the president multiple times a day on about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable. And it would be a very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release unmasked. And so you have to be very careful about how you do that. I think we have a moral responsibility to do that. We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein, and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely. And we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to...
Are you resolved to do it, Mike? Are you? Are you resolved to do it? Being resolved to do it would not be doing what you're doing. Being resolved to do it would mean it's a priority because the American people are asking for it.
This is a common ground kind of issue. How ironic. Are you on the list question? Because Donald Trump asked that question. I have the sound for you. Because he asked the question. Right? Here you go.
They don't mention Steve. They don't mention our great speaker. They mention Trump all the time. I'd like to have them mention you. But remember this, Obama cheated, or not appropriate. Just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election.
Have you guys ever noticed that whenever Trump is in,
he always pivots to the black man. Every single fucking time. Every time, it's always going to pivot to the black man. Right? So, here you go. So now we're going to do it again. Well, it gets worse because the presser that he did the other day is just fucking wild. I'm going to play you a series of sounds to show you how desperate they all are in an attempt to try to defend this fucking guy. So here you go. This is from that Oval Office meeting yesterday that he was meeting with. By the way, he looks really fucking bad, like worse than ever. So I'm not sure if his early stages of congenital heart failure are catching up to him. But anyway, so this is some interesting sound, again, being addressed these questions, and I'm going to follow that up with something that I think is interesting.
Do you support the Justice Department seeking an interview with Elaine Maxwell? Did you urge the Attorney General to seek?
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
They're going to, your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Elaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but
Okay, so I'm going to pause that for a second right there. So this is the President of the United States, right? In a story that is spread globally, like everybody from all across, the BBC is talking about it, Al Jazeera is talking about it. It is a story that is global. Obviously, it would be, right? So his claim is that he doesn't know anything about it. Okay, I find that interesting because if we go back in time just a little bit, there was a famous story, specifically
hyper-feminized. But you think about
not that yet. There was a story about Trump and the remember the whole situation where funds were paused, military assistance for Ukraine was paused. So, and he got questions about that. So remember what I just played for you, saying, "Oh, I don't know anything about that." Okay, well then, let's talk about this, Mr. Trump.
Sir, yesterday
You said that you were not sure who ordered the munitions halted to Ukraine. Have you since been able to figure that out?
Well, I haven't thought about it because we're looking at Ukraine right now and munitions, but I have not gone into it.
What does it say that such a big decision could be made inside your government without you knowing?
I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. Are you're the first to know, and you know everything that's happening in your administration? Well, I'm curious then. So why would you answer this question this way?
George, the Attorney General to see.
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
They're going to. Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do. Yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview?
Yeah.
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much.
I didn't know that they were going to do that. The biggest story in the world. You claimed that you would know everything. In fact, you would be the one that would give the order, and now you're saying you don't know? Yeah, I know everything, but I don't know exactly.
It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about.
Wait for it.
Is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 of the election.
Right.
They tried to rig the election.
Got it.
And they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me. God. Whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper.
Right.
The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified.
Right.
Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal.
Right.
It's criminal at the highest level.
Got it.
So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
So I didn't know they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt. President urged the media to stop talking about Mr. Epstein, saying that reporters should instead focus on what he claimed was a plot by President Obama to rig the 2016 election. Like, what? I know, but Obama has immunity, right? And I don't know, I've not been able to confirm this, but apparently there was some people in Trump's orbit talking about all these kinds of things. And then Obama posted a picture of Donald Trump actually being arrested for his crimes in New York, right? Right? Facts don't matter, though. I can't tell, Evan, if you want to request. I'm not sure if you were friendly or not. But anyway, that's where we are in regard to this whole issue. Everything is a distraction. I'm not going to let you guys get distracted, right? What the right is doing is attempting to distract their base by trying to use things like, well, you guys know Clinton was on the plane. We're like, yeah, we don't fucking care. Arrest his fucking ass, too. Well, Clinton was there. Yeah, we know. We don't fucking care. Arrest his fucking ass. But you guys are supposed to be angry that Clinton's there. We're angry that he's a fucking predator. Arrest his fucking ass. Yeah, but that's not the script that they gave me from Fox News. They said if I talked about Clinton, you guys would lose your shit and go off the rails. Well, we're not. We're not. We want everybody involved to be held accountable. And that's why. Yeah, but that's not what they said. Okay, what's next? The black guy. Yes. Let's remind them that the black guy in the tan suit that is really popular, charismatic, smart, much better than me, in every way. Let's tell them that he committed crimes so that they'll focus on something else. Well, you guys can talk about Epstein all you want, but Obama with the tan suit, he committed crimes. What crimes are they? Well, I don't know exactly. You mean the crimes that alleged that were already researched? It was determined that Russia did, in fact, interfere in the election in 2016, 2020, 2024. The Republican-led intelligence committee, the Mueller report, the Durham report, all confirmed that. Yeah, that's all fake news. Got it. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. And scene. That's exactly what it feels like. I mean, come on, right? It's like, guys are so desperate because in the past, the use of the media, the manipulation strategy has always worked. Talk about Russiagate. Did we not just go through it? Cancio? We just went through the exercise. There is no Russiagate. There is none. All the information has already been vetted and discussed. I'll just fucking read it for you. My God. Rubio, Senate. Okay. This is reporting from where's this from? This is from the Washington Post. Senators stand by 2016 Russia election meddling report despite Gabbard's claims. Republican senators. Senate Intelligence Committee members, including some Republicans, are standing by their panel's finding on the extensive Russian interference in the 2016 election despite new allegations from Tulsi Gabbard that the information was manufactured. Now, this is really a key point that I don't think gets discussed enough. If what Tulsi Gabbard, if what she's claiming had any kind of cred to it at all, wouldn't Republican senators and or members of the House and or other prominent voices be coming out with her? Nobody has. Nobody has. In fact, members of that committee who served on that committee at the time were saying, yeah, we stand by it. The 2020 bipartisan report, released in several tranches over the course of a year under a Republican-controlled chamber, concluded that Kremlin-backed efforts to sway the United States elections for then-candidate Trump did not affect vote tallying or involve the Trump campaign, but still occurred. Senator John Cornyn, longtime leadership advisor and member of the Intel panel, defended the Senate's previous findings of foreign meddling. However, Senator Cornyn sided with Gabbard in suggesting Obama officials should face repercussions for pushing the collusion narrative that Trump was involved in Russia interference. That didn't happen either. Gabbard has not directly rebutted the findings by the Senate or other government entities on interference, but suggested they were based on fake Obama-era intelligence. I mean, come on, right? The committee, the Republican-led committee that investigated this, have said the same thing. Have said the exact same thing. Do you guys understand that you're being psyoped and manipulated again? Like, what? It's not that hard to figure it out. Well, it might be for you. The Dental Views. Good morning. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, it's kind of sad to hear this stuff, that this is what's happening. You don't know really who to trust anymore. And
well, who do you trust? Who do you trust?
Well, I mean, you gotta look into the facts, and so there's been stuff that's been put out there. I'm sure that both sides are equally trying to push their narratives. And
so what narrative? Can you try to be a little bit specific here? It's like, what narrative is being pushed?
Well, I mean, I think at the time when this all went down, I'm sure that the Obama administration knew that there wasn't much that the Russians were doing to change the outcomes of these elections.
That's not true. That's not what was reported. That's not what was reported in the Mueller report. That's not what was reported in the Durham report, and that's not what was reported in the Senate Intelligence report.
Yeah, but do you think they put a stop to what was being put out there?
They didn't.
They didn't. No,
they didn't. They did not put a stop to it.
They wanted people to think that Russia and Trump were somehow in cahoots to change the outcome of the election.
No. The investigation was into Russian interference in the 2016 election. That's what the Mueller report confirmed. That's what the Durham report confirmed. That's what the Senate Intelligence Committee report confirmed. Tulsi Gabbard's claim is that Obama directed the investigators to make claims that the Russians hacked voting machines. That's not what happened. There was never a claim made about that. The information that she's putting out there is complete nonsense. And the Republicans in the Senate who were on that committee just 2 days ago came out and said, no, we stand by our findings that Russia absolutely interfered with the election in 2016. Think about it. I mean, who do you want to believe? Do you want to believe a Republican-led Intelligence Committee hearing? Do you want to believe the Mueller report, Robert Mueller, assigned by Bill Barr during the during the Trump administration? Do you want to believe John Durham, who confirmed that yes, Russia did interfere with the election? He did not like the way that some of the information from the Steele dossier was acquired, but it didn't change the facts. Or do you want to believe Tulsi Gabbard coming out with something a day after the Epstein stuff blows up? What do you think is more likely?
Well, where is she getting her information?
It's a really good question, isn't it? Really good question.
Well, do you think she would just come out and say this out of nowhere?
How come nobody's backing up what she said? Just try for a second. Just try for a second to think about it logically. Okay, so hang on one sec. Just try it for a second. Just to think about it logically. So, do you believe the findings of the Mueller report?
Honestly, I don't know what to believe. And I'm an independent. I'm kind of in between. But I know these government officials are all shady.
So that's an easy argument, but I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, right? Okay. So it's easy to say that. So again, I want you to answer this question specifically. What is more likely true? Okay, is it more likely true that a Republican-led bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee confirmed that Russia influenced the 2016 election through various, not through hacking voting machines, but they did hack the emails of the DNC. They did hack John Podesta's emails. They hacked Hillary Clinton's emails. That we know. That's been proven. That was confirmed by these various reports. Okay. Also, the Mueller report also confirmed the same thing, that Russia had a sweeping and systemic assault on the 2016 election through propaganda, through all kinds of things, election interference, and backed up by the Durham report. Do you think all of that is true? Or do you think Tulsi Gabbard's claim, without any evidence at all, that Barack Obama directed and then perpetuated misinformation? What do you think is more logical?
Well, can it both be true?
No, because they contradict each other. Think about it.
I just remember at the time that there was a lot.
Can you just answer the question, please? Can you answer the question, please? Just please try to answer that question, okay? What's more likely?
Well, I don't know where Tulsi is getting her information, so
neither do we, friend. That's the point, though. Right, but again, look at it this way, okay? Do you think it's just a coincidence that an unverified information from Tulsi, unverified, and no one is backing up what she claims to have found. No one's backing up. Do you think it's just a coincidence that something like that would come out a day after the whole Epstein thing blows up? Or do you think it's legitimate? Again, I'm just asking you to think about this logically.
I mean, I don't know. It could be legitimate. It could be,
Why didn't it come out before? Why didn't it come out during the first administration? If the information goes back that far, right? It could have come out the 4 years. Why didn't it come out then?
So do you think she's making up the whole thing? Is that what you're implying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she is using wordplay and semantics.
And she used to be a Democrat.
She was never a Democrat. So can I get you to answer the question? What do you think is more likely? That global intelligence communities, not just the US, but global intelligence communities, all agreed that Russia hacked our elections. And they've been doing it for a long time, not just 2016. They did it in 2012, 2020, 2024. Lots of evidence confirmed by numerous agencies, confirmed by the Mueller report investigation, backed up by the Durham report, and then confirmed again by a Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee. Do you think that is more likely to have happened? Or do you think Tulsi Gabbard, without any information, without anybody backing up her story, what do you think is more likely true? I know you want to answer, but I just think you're afraid to answer. I think you're afraid to admit.
I guess, I mean, the way you're putting it, it sounds like that Tulsi is making this up. But I don't know that if she would necessarily make something like this
You don't?
up.
Donald Trump makes shit up every single day. Caroline Leavitt makes shit up every day. His attorney general just lied last week. So is that the argument you want to hold on to? She did. It's not a question of whether I think so. She did. She literally lied to the American people last week saying that there's no list when she told us that there was.
Oh, you mean Pam Bondi?
So, yeah. So, are you honestly? So, don't forget, Donald Trump lied to the American people, documented lies, over 30,000 times when he was president the first time. He lied about the reading the dogs. He lied about tariffs. He lied about everything. So, yeah, stay in the conversation, friend. So, again, the last time I'm going to ask you, okay, what's more likely? What is more likely? Confirmed, corroborated, supported by multiple agencies that Russia interfered with the elections systemically and sweepingly with data? Or do we want to believe Tulsi Gabbard's claim that the entire thing was fake?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I guess we just have to wait and see, what
so you
comes
can't
out.
admit it, can you? You can't admit
But
it.
I don't think
Why is it so
would-
hard to admit? Why is it so hard to admit? Why? Why is it so
Well, because
hard to
it's
believe that you've been psyoped? Why? Why is it so hard to believe
too
that?
soon
Why
to
is it?
tell
Why is it
because-
so hard? It's my guy. It's not too soon. The Mueller report was during the first Trump administration. It goes back 5 years. The Senate Intelligence Report was released in 2020, paneled by Republicans, chaired by Republicans. Why is it so hard for you to admit it? Do you think I'm trying to fool you here? You think I'm trying to trick you? It's not a
No, I don't.
gotcha. This is just
No,
what the
I
evidence
don't.
is.
I don't. It's just, yeah. It's just I know
You
a
just
lot of
not-
shady stuff goes on.
Right, by the Trump administration, exactly. So why is it so hard for you to believe it? That's what I want to know. Why?
It's not just the Trump administration. It's both sides. Both
No,
sides
it's the Trump
are
administration.
very shady.
No, it's the Trump administration that we're talking about right now. We're talking about this whole lie cover-up. Okay, with the intent to distract people like you. So, I don't think you're an independent because you're constantly pivoting to the both sides thing, right? So again, you don't have to turn your camera on. Nobody's going to.
I'm really tired of
What?
both
Tired of what?
of these I'm tired of both of these parties. Like,
Okay, we're going to stay on the topic though. So,
corruption and-
the question again, the question specifically is, what's more likely? What's more likely? The evidence that we have about election interference confirmed by multiple sources, or Tulsi Gabbard's claim that the election interference did not exist and it was Obama that did it? What's more likely?
Well, she wouldn't just come out and say that without any evidence.
What is more likely?
She wouldn't just come and make some false claims.
More? Donald Trump makes false claims all day long. Pam Bondi made false claims just last week. So yes, she could put out anything she wants. Could she stand in front of has she raised her hand and given an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but? No. So again, what is more likely? Why can't you just answer it, man? Just answer it.
I mean, I'd have to see the whole.
Of course you would. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. What? Like, God damn, it's so fucking wild that holy shit. Damn. So wild. Good morning, Sean. How are you today? Sean, are you there? Sean. Sean B, 45. Are you there? Sean, are you there? I guess not. Listen, I'm not asking you to believe me. That's not my goal here. That's not my goal. I'm not asking you to believe me. I am just asking you to believe a special counsel appointed by a Republican Attorney General, Bill Barr, Bob Mueller. Bob Miller comes to the conclusion that Russia's interfered in the election in 2016. Systemically. People were arrested, people were convicted, people went to jail, and people were pardoned. Confirmed. Facts of that confirmed by the Mueller report, or by the Durham report. In the Durham report, John Durham said, I don't believe the FBI went through their CISA process or their FISA process properly, that they should change the way that they do these things in the future. Did not refute the facts found in the Mueller report, just in the way that the FBI acquired evidence. We can objectively look at that and say, okay, then they need to do better. Doesn't change what happened. Senate Intelligence Committee confirmed the exact same information, that yes, in fact, Russia interfered with the 2016 election. And then here we are, somebody like Dental, well, Tulsi Gabbard wouldn't have made it up. Are you fucking kidding me? When you get Donald Trump saying this shit.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
And we're supposed to believe that she's not going to make stuff up? Like, what? Okay. Accountability measures need to be taken. I think the Russians were definitely interfering with the election, but that's a far cry from saying there was any collusion with the Trump administration. No one ever claimed collusion. John Cornyn, I think the Russians were definitely interfering with the election. I think the Russians were definitely interfering with the election. One more time. I think the Russians were definitely interfering with the election. You can't have that and then have people claiming that, well, that was fake. It was Obama lying to the American people about this so they could go after Trump. Come on. Seriously. Let me just find this again. It's just fucking wild that you guys have spent so much time going down that particular road. I don't know why. Why is it so hard to believe? Anyway, this sound again.
Do you support the Justice Department seeking an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, and you urge the Attorney General to seek?
I don't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. They're going to what? Meet her?
Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview, given...
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely caught.
Yeah, there it is. Bison, I sent you a request because I don't appreciate you spewing misinformation in my live. So if you want to come up, we can talk about that so that I can destroy you in front of 1,000 people, but you probably won't because you're too much of a coward. Thought so. You guys have been psyoped. You guys want to sit up here and claim that the left is just, just distraction. the right and the Trump administration is doing this to you. They are distracting you from the fact that their boy is on a list. We know he's on the list. He admitted it. Why would the FBI have 1,000 employees scrubbing documents that apparently don't exist to identify and flag Donald Trump's name? Why? Why would they be doing that? Why? If there was nothing to see here, then why would you be using taxpayer dollars to have 1,000 FBI employees scrubbing the documents that don't exist to find references to Donald Trump's name? Why would Donald Trump himself admit to the fact the stuff they have on me is fake, but the stuff they have on everybody else is real? Come on. Dude, there is so much evidence. I know. Benita, thank you for your $2. Appreciate you. Anyway, okay. Do I
jobs that have had the great?
I'm going to play that in a minute because we're going to dunk on Charlie Kirk today. Just to close this particular portion of what we're talking about, Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced in June of 2022. Okay, convicted in December of 2021, sentenced in June of 2022, and then went through appeals. Grand jury testimony under wraps. You can't release evidence while you're going through court proceedings. Information then became unsealed by the judge, and then that was released under the Biden administration in January of last year, which included flight logs and some information specific from that particular trial. We went through it. So even in the information that we now know is in the hands of the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi's letter to Kash Patel says, yes, this information exists because you gave it to me. And then all of a sudden it disappears. And then it's just a coincidence that Tulsi Gabbard would introduce a fucking lie, a made up lie about Russia. And you guys are believing it. Come on. Can we just agree that, holy fuck, we want this all the information out? We want all these predators thrown in fucking jail? Erica, how are you today?
Good morning. How are you, Fax?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Good. Well, I won't be up here for too long. I get really nervous with public speaking, but the more you do it, the better you get, I guess.
That is true.
But I did want to just come up because of your background. It really reminded me of, in my area, there was a community superintendent that is over hundreds and hundreds of schools that was found to be a P3 DO. Is that how I say it on here?
That's it. You got it.
And so there was a lot of things that were coming out in my school district about how many just like really horrible people were not only on the Board of Education, not only on the school board, were community superintendents. The amount of people that knew about this man who was involved in child porn, the amount of people that knew and covered it up for a number of years. I mean, we're talking about like, this is a very, very large school district. And he was in a huge place of power. He now unalived himself because we know he can't take any accountability. Trigger warning. But a lot of these things that were coming up, it's really what pushed me to get on my school board is when I looked around and I saw the amount. There's a group here in my area that lists all of the professionals in the school district that have hurt children. And most of them still have their teaching license. Or their social work license. There's a principal that's involved in this. So I think that there was a moment for me when, I just looked around and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to get on this board and I take one seat on that board, that's one less pedo that is going to be sitting on my child's school board. And I do not think that my district is any different. So anyway, that's just a few of the things that I just wanted to say is that like, if that is the only reason for people to get on board is to be like, you know what, I don't exactly know what I'm doing, even though I have graduate training and, you know, I'm actually quite qualified to be sitting where I am.
Yeah, you are.
But it was just that thing where it's like, if I am taking up this one seat, that means that there's one less bad person in a position of power taking up the seat that I'm in. So, yeah. And a lot of those, like there's an organization that is taking all of the information from all the hundreds of schools about incidences. And I am astounded. I'm astounded reading some of these cases and realizing that these professionals still have their licenses in my state. Some are still practicing. Some are still one is still a principal of a high school who has been convicted. It's just, I can't say enough words about how ridiculous it is. So, yeah, I wanted to get over my fear, talk in front of everyone and say, like, get on your district accountability board. If you know, children, get on the school board. If anything, if you don't know what you're doing, like, just sit there so that somebody else who is does not have good intentions doesn't get that seat of authority. So, yeah, that's all I just wanted to say. And I appreciate you. This is the first time on your panel, but we have lots of mutuals and it's really good to see you. So thank you. Good morning.
Erica, thank you. I love that. We talk in this space every single day about doing something. And I think what you just pointed out is an example of doing something. Like, you never saw yourself maybe being on a school board, but you saw what was just despicable and horrible behavior. That goes without saying. And then you decided to do something, and that something was running for your school board. I would encourage everybody to do something like that. So thank you. I just followed you from this backup. I probably follow you on my main as well, but I just want to thank you for that. And I really appreciate that. And I don't know why you feel like you're not a good public speaker. You did awesome. So good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, the more you do it, the better you get. But I speak regularly at city council. Like I do, there's a part of me that likes public speaking, but I don't know, live and TikTok. I mean, you know, this world is just a little bit nuts, but yeah.
It's a little different, but sure. I get it.
Getting involved in all the ways that you can. Yeah, I have a little bit of a vendetta against, I want names of all of the people in my child's school district. And I want their licenses stripped. I want, so I'm on a little bit of a mission over here. But yeah, I know that there's organizations in every school district. So I just ask for people to go and search out for those school districts, because there are people who have eyes on people in position and power that are doing really horrible things to children. And yeah, so anyway, but I appreciate you and thank you. And my daughter just got up and is looking with her bright, beautiful eyes at me. So I'm going to go.
Appreciate you, Erica. Thank you very much. Have a good day. See you later.
See you too. Bye.
That's a great example, friends, of doing something. You recognize an opportunity, or you recognize something that you want to address and you want to be involved in, and you want to be able to, be part of a solution. That's how we move the needle forward. That's fantastic. Hopefully that was inspiring for everybody. Hopefully it was. Everybody, please keep tapping and sharing. I appreciate y'all very, very much. Good morning, Mom Boss. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind today?
I just want to know why the focus is only on Donald Trump when it's a conglomerate of those that support the Republican platform, and we're not really saying anything about what they're doing. I mean, because it's not go ahead.
Well, we talk about that a lot. I don't.
Okay.
Trump is just a useful idiot. I've always been concerned more with the people behind him, Stephen Miller and the authors of Project 2025. That's where a lot of my focus has been for the past couple of years.
And I'm in Texas, and so like the previous panelist was saying, what they're doing, what they're trying to do in our state as far as our public education is also distressing, because, they're trying to implement, putting the 10 Commandments in the classrooms. They just passed legislation where they're taking the children will no longer be able to take their cell phones to school. And, I just, like you said, one of the things that is concerning is that we know that we have people in positions that will take advantage of children. And I know that they're, cell phones, just on that topic, I know that they're a distraction, but they're also something that is needed, especially when we know that our government isn't really protecting our children in situations where you have, school shooting, school pew-pews.
Yeah. There's so many layers to that. Yeah, the issue I have is the hypocrisy from the party that claims to be about protecting kids. Every chance they get to actually protect kids, they just blame somebody else.
Right. And, somebody commented, they said, well, do you not know that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is one of the same bird? I mean, I understand I think that there's going to be things that we have to accept in our society as a whole, but I don't see the same, I don't see the same destructive policies being put forward in mass with the Democratic Party as it has been with the Republican Party. So I don't understand the false equivalency there.
Totally agree. It's an excuse. It's an attempt to make we can just use the Epstein thing as an example, right? They're like, well, Democrats are on it, and we're like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care who's on the list. We want everybody held accountable.
Right, and we're going to hold them accountable.
Exactly, and that's the difference. Like, again, the right's going to try to do everything they can to avoid being accountable for anything. They will use whatever methods or tactics, because again, I think it's true. Just tell them it doesn't exist, they'll believe anything. And I think you're going to use that to apply it towards everything. Tell them that we're not going to cut Medicaid while we're cutting Medicaid. Tell them we're not going to cut SNAP benefits while we're cutting SNAP benefits. Tell them we're going to stop funding education while we're cutting in. Tell them we're going to stop funding education while we're cutting funding to education. Tell them we're not going to lock up people for their speech while we're locking up people for their speech. So if you tell them enough things over and over and over again, it's a strategy: deny, deflect, defend, or delay, and it works. But now they're stuck. Now they're stuck because the response from the left regarding the situation with Epstein is like, we want everybody held accountable. So what are they going to say? We only want Democrats held accountable? There's nowhere to go, which is why they get so angry so fast, which is when they're called out on it, right? When you said, listen, what we're saying is we want everyone involved to be held accountable. The simple answer for them would be like, well, we do too. Okay, then shouldn't we get the list released? Yes. Okay, then shouldn't Congress be, instead of going home early, staying past their deadline to vote on this so they can see the information? People who want transparency and accountability would agree. They don't.
So, and I just have one question, and I'll fall off. So, what do you? I mean, I understand the ultimate goal, but ultimately, what do you think they want the structure of the United States to be?
The Republicans, the conservatives, you mean? What do they want?
Yeah.
They want an autocracy. This is what they want. They want what Project 2025 mandates. It's the theory of the unitary executive. They believe that democracy in and of its structure is not a functional form of government. They want more power in the hands of the president, which is completely antithetical to our entire system. They want an autocracy. They want power in the hands of the executive to do whatever they want. They don't care what the court says. They don't care what legislation says. They want the president to be able to do whatever the president does.
And so with that, and I'm sorry, I know I said that one more question, but so with that being said, what does that look like for the working class? And
they don't care about the working class. Well, they don't. You're welcome. They don't care. I can drop you down. Thank you for being here, friend. I appreciate you. They don't care about the work. It's a great question. They don't care about the working class. They don't. I mean, Pam Bondi says we can put working class people in Alcatraz. They don't care about the working class. In fact, they despise the working class because they want oligarch rule. They want a system of whatever it be, the elite, the powerful, because they generally believe that the power in the hands of powerful people is better than a democracy. And I remember we had this whole argument yesterday. I can't stand the whole, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. Two things can be true. A republic is a form of democracy. We are by definition a democratic constitutional republic, which means we vote for people who represent us. That makes us a democracy. We're not a direct democracy. We're an indirect democracy and or a representative democracy. Okay? So there's that. They don't want the voice of the people to be heard. Just think of the way they're acting. You don't have to believe me. This is how they're acting. They will tell you that they care about free speech when they'll arrest people who disagree with them. They'll tell you that they're about freedom of the press. They'll pull press credentials or sue people who report things that they don't like. They talk about freedom of religion, but if you are anything but a Christian, your rights will be suppressed. They tell you that they support your right to peacefully protest, and yet when you peacefully protest on a college campus, they will kick you or revoke your visa. So this is why we call this shit out every single day, and there's no way the right can defend it other than believing that what Donald Trump says, that these people are threats. That these people are threats. Chris Lee, I just sent you an invitation. He said, what the fuck am I talking about? Come on up and we can talk about it. Again, I don't want you to believe me. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying, look at the information that's available. Look at what we have. Look at what's in Project 2025. Don't forget, during the campaign, Donald Trump said, I've got nothing to do with Project 2025. But yet you can compare executive orders to the agenda in Project 2025, and they're about 50% of the way through it. So that doesn't work. We told you this was going to happen, but you didn't listen. Now you got to live with it. Okay.
What's up,
Good morning,
bud?
John.
How's it going? Good morning, sir.
Are you going to have it? Are you going to try to have a conversation without losing your mind this time?
Yes, I will. I'm sorry if I've lost my mind in the past.
Yeah. Just don't be so emotional and just have a conversation, okay?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm sorry. So, how are you reconciling, this whole Epstein thing? How do you reconcile, how our government, I don't want to play the tribe game here, allowed this to happen and nobody's asking the question, how is that possible?
Well, that's a really vague question. Could you be specific?
Yeah. So obviously Epstein operated with an island and all this stuff for over a decade. How did was our government incompetent? Was this an op? How did we allow this to happen?
He was found guilty and charges were filed and he was found guilty and then got a sweetheart deal from Alex Acosta, who eventually became Donald Trump's Secretary of Labor.
Okay, but
then he went to jail, and then the story is that he unalived himself.
Yeah, but that was in 2017. What I'm talking about is how did he do this for over a decade with our government? Why didn't our government stop him sooner? Is the question I want to know.
Why didn't the government stop him sooner? Because So a crime ring that exists for 10 years. Do you expect the government to know about it on the day one of the first year?
I mean, when the dude has an island...
Your question makes no sense, though, man. Your question makes no sense.
What do you mean? So is the government just incompetent? They can't, sniff this stuff out and figure out a dude has a whole island?
So is owning an island against the law?
Who said it's against the law, owning an island?
Because I'm trying to... The argument that you're making is that the government should have known about this. Is that right?
Do you not agree?
I'm asking you. Is that what you think? That the government should have known about this?
I've made that. Yes, obviously I've said that. So do you not agree?
Okay, so how would the government just know about this?
Easy. You have an FBI, that's their job. No? So are they incompetent at their job?
Again, but what would the FBI would have to have rumors and or to do an investigation into what was happening, right?
Sure. Yes.
So the first investigation into this was in 2005.
Correct.
Okay. So that means that they did investigate it. Don't forget, he got off on a sweetheart deal in Florida. Pam Bondi was the attorney general in the state of Florida. He got a sweetheart deal, a non-prosecution agreement facilitated by the U.S. attorney at the time, who was Alex Acosta, who eventually became what?
Yeah, so that was in 2005.
Alex Acosta became what?
He became, I don't know, tell me, what did he become?
He became Trump's labor secretary. Is that a coincidence?
Maybe it's not. Maybe you're right. But then why from 2005 to 2017 was he allowed to continue to operate in the fashion that he did? Is government incompetent?
Because he got the sweetheart deal from the state of Florida, of which Pam Bondi was involved and Alex Acosta was involved as well.
So that deal gave him the ability to operate for the next, 12 years without...
Correct. It did.
What?
Yes.
For 12 years, the government stopped investigating him, stopped looking at him.
It was because of the sweetheart deal he got. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand how he got off in 2005.
So what is the point that you're trying to make here, John? Do you believe that Donald Trump is on the list, yes or no?
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Possible. Do you believe Bill Clinton's on the list?
That's possible. I mean, again.
Okay, so then do you want the entire information released?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so then why is it not? Then why did Pam Bondi lie to you?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think the better question is, how do we allow it to happen for so long?
That's a nice pivot. The question is, so two things, right? Two things.
I answered your question, then asked you.
I'll explain to you how it's a pivot. So when did Jeffrey Epstein go to jail?
I think he was arrested in 2017, if my memory.
He went to jail in 2019.
Okay.
And then his life ended in the same year. So who was
something happened in 17?
Hold on, stop.
Sure.
You're doing it again. Take a deep breath.
Well, I was asking you a question.
Stop. Stop.
Okay.
He was arrested. He was sentenced in 2019, went to jail, and then his life ended in 2019. Who was the president?
Trump.
Okay. So the information connected to then Ghislaine Maxwell. So Ghislaine Maxwell was also arrested for her crimes. When did she go to court? Do you know?
I don't remember the date. You probably have it up in front of you, so why don't you just say it?
I do. So she was convicted in December of 2021 during the Biden administration. She was sentenced in June of 2022 during the Biden administration. There was a 1.5-year appeal process, which is why the information doesn't become public, because you can't taint you can't taint an appeals process if information is public. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
That's the legal.
You could.
I didn't say you did. I'm asking you if you would agree. So that information from the Biden administration then gets released in January of last year, which included flight logs, information, names of victims that were redacted, because the court then has to release that information. So the question I have for you is, why are you working so hard from my perspective, you are working so hard to try to find some government conspiracy other than the Trump administration's in an attempt to protect him?
I'm not trying to find. I agree with everything you just said. I'm not trying not to. I'm just asking you why you think it was allowed to go on for so long, for as long as it did. I agree with everything you just said. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I told you why. Because rich white men in America get forgiven for everything that they do. That's one thing. But the sweetheart deal that was signed by, again, facilitated by Alex Acosta, who became Donald Trump's labor secretary. Do you honestly think that that's just a coincidence?
No, I listen. I'm agreeing with you. I just want to ask you the question. I think you've avoided it. From 2005 to 2017, why was our government incompetent? They couldn't catch them. Were they in on it, or was it a psyop? Which one do you believe it is?
I think it can be a combination of things. I don't understand why that matters.
Well, because that's what I'm asking you.
But why does that matter?
So he gets a sweetheart deal in 2005.
John,
right? So why is our government incompetent?
John, you're doing it again. Why does that matter?
Because that's the root cause of the situation as to why it was allowed to go on for so long.
No, the root cause of the situation is that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and anybody affiliated with this are fucking predators. That's the root cause.
Well, but why did the government not stop them sooner? Don't we want to know the answer to that question?
John, the government did stop them sooner. He got a sweetheart deal to be able then to go back into his circles. Do you think do you think crime happens under the watch of the government every single day?
So are you saying that the government was incompetent then?
Can you answer a question without deflecting?
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, that could happen.
So so you think that people are committing crimes without the government knowing about it, right?
Of course, yes.
And don't forget, the immunity was also related to anybody who was involved. So I don't know why you're asking a ridiculous question. It doesn't make any sense. Are you trying to figure out ways to listen? Stop, okay? Just please stop. You're trying to figure out ways to blame somebody else. The people who are responsible for this are the people who committed these heinous acts against children. Period.
Right.
Period.
But what if it was
There's no but. There's no but, John. There's no but.
What if the government was involved in it?
The government is involved in it because the government is involved in it. The government is involved because the government is involved in it because they are covering it up.
So again, then government is involved, is what you're saying.
The Trump administration is complicit because they are covering up the crimes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So from 2005 to 2016, during that time frame, was government incompetent or were they in on it?
That is a ridiculous question, John. I just took you through the exercise. Okay? He got arrested again. He got a sweetheart deal for future crimes. Anybody that was connected to it would then be exonerated through immunity. And then guess what? He got busted again, was held, was convicted, was sentenced, and then lost his life. I don't know what it is that you're talking about. Don't forget, for 10 years, we've been hearing from the right that they want to blow the lid off the deep state. The cover-up is the deep state. Here we are now with the information being promised to the American people, that it would be released. And when the opportunity, I'm not done. And when the opportunity comes to release it, they are not releasing it. Right. Why?
Maybe they're blackmailing people. I don't know.
So why do you think the FBI recruited 1,000 employees in their agency to go through any and all documents and flag Donald Trump's name? Why do you think they're doing that?
I don't know. Why did they do it?
I'm asking you, why do you think they did it?
I don't know. I don't know why they did
it. Maybe try to draw a conclusion. Why do you think that they would do that? Why would the FBI, under Pam Bondi's direction, recruit 1,000 employees to go through the documents that they say don't exist and identify and flag Donald Trump's name?
Oh, I see.
Why do you think?
Oh, so they can erase his name and then not release the list. I see what you're saying.
Again, I'm not making that statement. That's a reasonable conclusion that we could add, right?
I mean, that's what I would do it, right? Wouldn't you want to remove your name from the files and then not release them?
Right. So then wouldn't the government cover up that the incompetence that you're trying to talk about, wouldn't that fall squarely on the hands of the Trump administration?
But wouldn't he just release him if he removed his name from all of them?
Well, then that would contradict everything that Pam Bondi said, that there's no list, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This whole thing is stupid. I agree with you on that. And wouldn't there have been like former Democrats that knew he was on the list because they reviewed the file, and couldn't they be like, hey,
what could they review?
He deleted him?
But what could they review?
Well, they could just say that didn't Elon Musk say he's on the list?
Yeah. He did. Is Elon Musk a Democrat?
I don't know what he is. He's an alien, no?
Yeah, no, he's certainly not a Democrat.
He's more like an alien. But
I would agree.
So from 2005 to 2017, why do you think we failed at stopping?
John, I'm not going to. I've already done this. It's boring because, again, I've explained it to you like 5 separate times. I don't think it's gotten to your head. We are now in 2000. No, I've answered it. You just don't like the answer. We're now at 2025.
You said
I've already told you. I've already told you. You said about it. I said he got a sweetheart deal. He went back and committed crimes. He got busted again, a repeat offender. He got sentenced.
But you would agree it took 12 years for them to bust him again, right?
It happens all the time. Do you think it took Donald Trump 35 years to be held accountable for his crimes in New York City?
Right, that's bad, isn't it? Don't we agree that's bad?
Sure, it's bad.
Right.
But again, I don't understand. I don't understand what your point is. So now I'm going to shift you. If you say 2005, 2017 again, I'm going to kick you. We are now in 2025.
Okay.
The promises that were made by the administration was that everything was going to be released. Do you want everything released? Yes or no, John?
Yeah, I support Thomas Massey. Yes.
Okay, so then you should be angry with Mike Johnson for not only making this bullshit claim that they believe in transparency while simultaneously sending the House home 2 days early so they wouldn't have to answer questions.
Yeah, it's bullshit, dude. Absolute bullshit.
Okay, so then do you believe that Donald Trump is on the list?
I think he could possibly be on the list, sure. I'm not going to say he is or he isn't, but I think he could be.
So, but what does logic tell you?
That there's a good possibility that he might be on the list.
Okay, do you still support him?
I don't support him, no. I'm actually, for 2028, if Thomas Massey isn't the candidate, I won't be voting.
Okay, well, he's not. Donald Trump can't run in 2028. Okay?
Right, so I'm not supporting him, yeah.
I'll
vote for Thomas Massey in 2028.
Do you regret your vote?
No, I don't, because Harris would have been worse. You don't?
Oh, so is Kamala Harris a predator?
Well, I would say I would have abstained from voting. That's how much I regret it. I would abstain from voting, but I wouldn't have voted for Harris.
I didn't ask you about Harris.
I just wouldn't have voted. So, yeah, to answer your question, I just wouldn't have voted.
So you decided that no matter how horrible Donald Trump was, you decided that it would be a better solution for you to not vote at all than to vote for Kamala Harris.
Correct.
So can you tell me one element of Kamala Harris's economic policy?
Sure. Yeah, she wanted to do the first-time home buyers, similar to it. Her program looked similar to the Bush Dreamers Act. It felt eerily similar to it, but it was pretty much the same thing.
What was the difference, though, between those two programs?
I think hers, actually, I don't think there was a lot of difference, actually. She wanted to give her first-time home buyers. She wanted to promote low income by giving them resources to buy homes.
Yeah, those are so horrible. God, those are awful things. Damn. Wow. Can you imagine how horrible it is to want to offer first-time home buyers an opportunity to buy into the market? That's so awful.
Yeah. Well, you didn't ask me what I disagreed with. You asked me one of her economic policies.
Do you disagree with that?
I think the timing of it is important. When you have a low supply of housing, I think you'd have to.
Yeah, and what else did she want to mandate in her economic policy?
Yeah, she wanted new housing to be built. Yeah,
3 million, up to 3 million homes, right? That's a horrible thing too, right? Horrible, so awful.
Well, how is she going to do that?
That's what legislation does, my guy.
Right. Well,
that's what happens.
Yeah, explain it to me. Like, what legislation would do that?
Well, you would work with developers in communities of underserved areas, primarily because that was a target. You would use the resources available, not only through your economic policy, but through taxation, to invest in communities. Like if you invest in a community now to build parking lots or schools or things like that, that requires support from the federal government. Would you agree?
Yeah. So what you're saying is
no different than building out communities up to 3 million houses that are low income.
Yeah.
Because the housing shortage that we have, a lot of the housing crisis that we have is related to, guess what? Deregulation from the first Trump administration that allowed large corporations to come in sooner than they should have to be able to buy up single family homes.
Yeah. So question for you. So you're saying she was going to pass legislation to
attempt to requires Congress.
Sure. So she was going to pass legislation to what? Like give
attempt money? To. Yeah, because money has to be appropriated because Congress holds the purse strings.
No, I get it. So she was going to pass legislation to what? Create like a slush fund for contractors to pull from to build housing?
That's your term. No, investments in areas where housing is a serious issue. Up to 3 million homes that she wanted to build. Is there something wrong with that?
Well, it depends on how you do it. I'm trying to understand how she was going to do it.
Again, is there something wrong with wanting to build 3 million homes that are affordable for people to buy into?
Yeah, it depends on how you do it. Are you stealing from other people?
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with that?
Again, it depends on how you're doing it. Well, okay. What if
again? I just explained it to you. The way you do it is that you increase corporate tax rate. You stop with these bullshit exemptions regarding capital gains, and you get the people who are taking advantage of the system now to pay a little bit more in, and then you invest in. I'm not done. And then you invest in communities by investing in new houses being built. Why is that so hard for you to grasp?
Yeah, so you're saying your plan is to raise more revenue and then cut a check to pay for it.
No, I'm talking about doing a couple of different things. Raising revenue and then changing the tax code so that tax cheats can't continue to take advantage of it, and then allowing government to fund programs that benefit the majority of the people.
Okay, why do you have to raise more revenue to do that, though?
What do you mean? Why do you have to raise more revenue? You got to pay for it somehow, right?
Well, I mean, during Biden's first term, did they raise more revenue to pay for the things that they did?
Joe Biden reduced the deficit. So did Barack Obama.
No, I'm asking, what did they do to raise more revenue?
Well, they couldn't do anything with the tax program because the tax policy was under Trump, right?
Well, that's not true. They raised the corporate minimum to 15%, no?
Well, they did, but the tax legislation under the TCJA is what we are currently operating under until the new tax plan takes effect next year.
Sure, right? I agree, but they did make changes. Did they not?
Yeah, but the corporate tax rate's nothing. Yeah, but the corporate tax rate's nothing. It's capital gains, man. This is what we got. This is where the tax cheats take advantage of it because of the capital gains bullshit. Again, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that you knew everything you knew about Donald Trump, and you still think that a non-vote is better for somebody who wanted to truly invest in the middle class. You've still not been able to answer my question that says, what is so wrong with wanting to create scenarios where more homes can be built, because we do have a housing crisis, no doubt about it, and giving incentives for first-time home buyers to be able to get in? Because the main barrier, what do you think the main barrier is for first-time home buyers?
Having a down payment.
Exactly. So that's what that was for. What is wrong with that?
Yeah. So, again, I guess, can we
John,
go? There's nothing wrong with giving a first-time home buyer program.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with, is there anything wrong with wanting to build 3 million new homes so that people can buy in? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, again, it depends on how you're going about to do it.
Again, is there anything wrong with the concept of building 3 million new homes for first-time home buyers?
The way you just framed it, no. There's no reason that you would not want to do that.
Okay. That's how it was. That was the baseline, one of the fundamental principles of Kamala Harris's tax policy. Well, similarly,
but now you're adding in Kamala Harris.
Hold on.
You're adding in a qualifier. Stop it. You know what you're doing.
It's not a qualifier. That was her economic plan.
Yeah, but you asked me a question. You said, is there anything wrong with building 3 million new homes? I said no, and then you added in a qualifier.
What qualifier did I add?
Yeah, so you simply asked me a question, right? You said, hey, is there anything wrong with building 3 million new homes?
What qualifier did I ask?
You added government.
What qualifier?
You added government.
I added government?
Correct.
What?
You asked me, is there anything wrong with building 3 million new homes? I'm not going to say no, because that would be not logical to the
Okay, that was Kamala Harris's economic policy, John.
Okay, if you ask me, is there anything wrong with government building 3 million new homes, then I would say yes. If you're just going to ask me, is 3 million homes being built bad, I'm going to say no. It's a loaded question, and you know it.
It's not a loaded question at all. We have a housing crisis. So it's not. We have a housing. Why do you think we have such a housing crisis in our country?
Yeah,
why do you think we have such a?
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple different factors. One, I think it's at the local level and it's zoning issues where a lot of local communities push out, which you can't fix at a federal level, really, in my eyes. But most communities push out low-income housing through zoning. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, we kept rates.
Not true, but okay.
We kept rates low for too long, which actually allowed private investment to enter the market and also drove up housing costs. So theoretically, the Federal Reserve should have raised rates even before Trump's administration, because when you raise rates, it pushes downward pressure on asset prices. So
okay, there's some of what you said is true, but that not entirely. A big reason why is because of deregulation to the housing industry, which allowed VC firms and corporations to buy up single family homes and then not return them to inventory.
Yeah,
so
I would also add.
Hold on, I'm not done. I let you talk.
Yeah,
one of the main reasons is because there's not enough inventory. Basic supply and demand. So what I find interesting is that because I brought up Kamala Harris, your reaction was interesting. If we can agree that investing in new homes and creating an opportunity for up to 3 million new homes, low-income homes, to be built for people, you agree that was a good idea. And then because I said that is a fundamental tenet of Kamala Harris's economic policy, you suddenly got afraid of that. What I'm trying to understand is why.
Yeah, I mean, even if that was Donald Trump's plan, I would be afraid of it. So I don't care. Because I don't think government. Because I don't think government should be involved in that. The free market should be able to determine that.
But the free market doesn't do it. That's my point.
Well, because we don't let the free market operate.
I disagree. Government is there because the private sector and the free market doesn't do the job. There's nothing keeping developers now from creating an entire community of low-income housing. Why don't they do it?
I just told you why. Because zoning laws in certain communities get pushed out.
No,
because
they don't do it because they want the high ticket items. So if the government has to step in. Similarly, in any community, if a community is not going to invest, I believe the government exists because the private sector and the free market fails. We could have more things if corporations weren't so fucking greedy.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not done. Again, I'm asking you to try to put your biases away. Because you're biased against Kamala Harris. And that's when the conversation changed. If you can agree that we need more housing and you can agree that an investment for low-income first-time home buyers is a good thing, then tell me why you couldn't bring yourself to vote for Kamala Harris. Because if that's your only argument, then I would just have to say that you're a misogynist and a racist.
Well, when did I say that's my only argument? You asked me to give me one thing about her economic policy. I did. You've now leaned into that and said I'm a racist, and that's the only reason I didn't vote for her.
And a misogynist.
Yes. So listen to what you just did. So you asked me a question.
I know exactly what I did.
Yeah.
You're a racist and a misogynist because you cannot justify a reason for voting against Kamala Harris.
Well, you asked me for an economic policy, and then you leaned into calling me a racist.
No, I asked you and we had a 15-minute discussion on economic policy, and you agreed that those things by and large are good. And then when I mentioned Kamala Harris's name, you got triggered because I said it was the government.
Yeah, but
it's good policy. If it's good policy, it's good policy.
I never said it's good policy, and if Donald Trump wanted to do it, I would say it's bad policy as well. Just like I said, his price controls and price caps are bad policy as well.
Okay, once again.
You're making this a racist thing. You're making this
no,
I
I'm
only
not.
care because it's Kamala Harris. That's not true. I can criticize Trump on his economic policies too.
But you voted for him.
Correct.
But you voted for him. You voted for his. What's his economic policy?
Well, I think extending the TCJA, I agreed with that portion of the big beautiful bill. I agree with the rest of it. I don't.
But you knew it was coming, John.
I knew what was coming.
You knew who Donald Trump was. You knew of everything connected to his past. You knew of all of it.
Sure.
You went to the ballot, whether you mailed in your ballot or you went to your polling location on election day, and you said, "I'm going to look at these two candidates." You obviously you admitted that you didn't necessarily look into everything that Kamala Harris had in her economic package.
I never admitted that. You're saying that.
I'm asking you. I don't know how deeply you read into it. Do you know everything? Did you read her entire plan on how she wanted to prop up the ACA? Did you read about her plan on public education? Did you read about all those kinds of things?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I read it like almost a year ago. So do I remember it all to a T? No. But
I'm not asking if you remember it. I'm just asking if you read it. So you looked at her economic plan. You looked at her economic plan that was clearly very, very similarly mirrored Bill Clinton's. Very, very closely. Propping up investment for small businesses, homeowners, education reform, all these kinds of things. All these things were connected, very, very similar. All the experts out there compared them. A lot of similarities between what she wanted to do and what Bill Clinton did. Okay? You looked at those two policies. You knew everything you knew there was to know about Donald Trump, and you still decided that he was what's better for America.
Yes, correct.
That's why I believe that there's some racism and misogyny connected to that. Because there's no way you could look at it objectively. There's no way you could look at those two economic policies objectively and say his was better for the middle class. No way.
Well, I guess, sir, let me ask you a question. When have the Democrats ever lowered the tax burden from the poor middle class when it wasn't just extending a Republican tax break?
Nice pivot. Again, I'm trying to ask you why it is that you went into your polling location in November and you looked at both candidates, knowing everything you know about this guy, knowing everything that you know, and you decided that I'm going to vote for him over the black woman. Why?
I just told you why.
No, you didn't.
Because I think Trump's plan, his economic plan, was better, and I still think it's better. If we want to get into that, we can.
But it's not better. Inflation's up.
Huh?
It's not better. Inflation's up.
Inflation's at 2.7%, my guy.
Yeah, it went up, my guy, from the last month. It's up.
Yeah, what basket of good went up?
Again, is inflation up, yes or no? Is the
yes,
CPI up, yes or no? Okay, so did he promise you that he was going to end inflation?
Yes. Well,
okay,
no.
Has he?
I mean, he said he was going to bring down prices, ending inflation.
No, he said he was going to end inflation.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't believe him when he said that, but that's fine.
But you fucking voted for it, John. That's my point.
Yeah, but we're seeing inflation right now because the Fed cut rates in Q4. So when the Fed...
John, stop your fucking pivot bullshit, okay? You voted for a guy...
Inflation.
He promised to end inflation, okay?
Was that his exact quote?
Yeah. You want me to play it for you?
Well, and again, just because he says... I mean, Biden said he was going to cure cancer. What's your point?
The cancer moonshot. What did Biden say? He's going to cure cancer, or he's going to invest in researches to cure cancers?
I mean, I could play the clip for you. He actually said, I'm going to cure cancer.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say he's going to cure cancer. It's a cancer moon, because there's a lot of cancers that we can cure if we invest. Okay?
Right.
Nice.
You want me to play the clip for you?
No, we're going to focus on this one. So why did Trump say he was going to end inflation?
Because politicians say things to win elections. What do you want me to tell you?
So you believe it? So then you believe the lie, right?
No, I just knew he was lying.
So you knew he was lying, and you voted for it anyway.
Politicians lie, no?
You knew Trump was lying,
yes,
and you voted for him anyway.
Correct.
So therefore, my conclusion's right. You are a misogynist and a racist. Get the fuck out of here.
I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy.
We're going to bring those prices way down.
A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. Groceries, cars, everything. We're going to get the prices down. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Yeah, there's that. You don't like being called a misogynist or a racist, and don't act like one. Yep. Bank interest, fees, Joe Biden wanting to cap fees. They had to sign an executive order to take that away. Why? Why would they have to do that? Why? Give me a break. Unbelievable. It's just crazy. Big returns. How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right. What's on your mind?
What do you think about the whole Obama getting exposed?
He wasn't
for trying to rig the elections.
But he wasn't.
He's literally getting exposed right now.
No, okay. So let's unpack it. So what did the Mueller report say?
I don't know exactly. I've only seen one little thing about it, but all I know is that.
So what you're saying is you don't know what you're talking. So what you're saying is you don't know what you're talking about.
Not yet. I think that Tulsi Gabbard still has to release a lot of information, so nobody knows.
Okay, Okay, but what? No,
all we know is that Obama.
No, hold on.
For sure.
No,
that's all anybody really knows.
No, what we do? No. Actually, we know a lot. We know that from the Mueller report that was initiated under the first Trump administration.
Oh, and Hillary was involved.
I'm not done. I'm not done talking. Don't crash. Okay, don't crash. We know from the first administration.
Go ahead, go. Spit it out.
Stop talking then. Stop talking. We know that in the Mueller report, the investigation that they went into Russian interference, it was confirmed that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. Corroborated by the Durham report and also corroborated by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee that confirmed the same thing, that Russia interfered with the election. That we know. So do you disagree with that?
Okay, so what do you say? What do we know about Obama interfering? What is this all about then? What are you saying that we know about Obama interfering?
There
isn't.
Nothing.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to say that he didn't interfere with the election.
He didn't interfere with the election.
But we have all this shit that Tulsi Gabbard's gathering right now saying that.
What do we have? Tell me what we have.
1 second, I can tell you exactly what we got.
Cool. Fantastic. Come on back.
It said that they fabricated intelligence.
Who said that?
Tulsi, the people in charge. Tulsi Gabbard,
right, so Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, internal affairs like this. So it says that he's tampering with it, trying to sway the opinion of the American people, but it didn't work, and now he's getting exposed.
Right. Okay. So that's a nice story, but Tulsi Gabbard is the only one that's claiming that.
Yeah, and she's the one who's looking over all these documents.
Okay, but let's think about it. I'm going to ask you.
Your boy is cooked, bud. Your boy is cooked.
He's not my boy. So let me ask you a question. I'm trying to stay on topic. Okay, here specifically. So Tulsi Gabbard is the only one that's come out and made that claim. How come no one else is supporting what she has stated? And do you think it's a coincidence that it would come out a couple of days after the whole situation with Epstein? Because your boy is cooked because he's on that list. I can't have a conversation with you if you're teacupping, sir. You got to come back into the live.
I'm trying to double check and make sure that Tulsi Gabbard is the only one. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Has anybody come out in support of what she said?
I'm sure Trump, obviously. So there's one person right there.
Of course, Trump, right? Of course, Trump.
Just right there.
Okay, so here's the claim.
Your fucking comment is null and void.
Right. Here's the claim. The claim that Obama-era intelligence agencies spied on Donald Trump's campaign for political reasons. Trump tweeted this in March 2017. This goes back all the way back then. No evidence was found that Obama ordered surveillance. The FBI did obtain FISA warrants on the Trump campaign, advisor Carter Page, but this was approved by a judge and not ordered by Obama himself. The DOJ Inspector General Horowitz found no political bias, though there were serious errors in the FISA process. Again, a claim that Obama orchestrated the Russia investigation, referred to as Obamagate. You need to be back in the live, sir. I can't have a conversation with you and dunk on you mercilessly if you're going to be teacupping. Okay, I'm just going to kick you because you're not having a conversation. Whatever. Obama used the DOJ and the FBI to launch a bogus investigation into Trump's campaign to sabotage him. That's the claim. Amplified by Trump, by Fox News, and some GOP lawmakers in 2020 under the slogan Obamagate. Reality. The Russian investigation, Crossfire Hurricane, began in July 2016 based on a tip about George Papadopoulos discussing Russian dirt on Hillary Clinton, not an Obama directive. Special Counsel John Durham's 2023 report criticized the FBI, but did not implicate Obama in wrongdoing, and in fact, confirmed that Russia did, in fact, interfere in the 2016 election. Unmasking requests, the claim. Obama officials improperly unmasked Trump associates in intelligence reports. Reality, unmasking, identifying a U.S. person in foreign intelligence intercepts is a legal and routine process approved through the NSA. An investigation by Trump's DOJ found no wrongdoing by Obama officials. Obamagate and Michael Flynn claim Obama's administration set up Michael Flynn, Trump's incoming national security advisor, as part of a political hit job. Reality. Flynn was under investigation for his contacts with the Russian ambassador. The FBI interviewed him lawfully, and he later pled guilty to lying before later withdrawing the plea. The Obama administration actually informed the incoming Trump administration that you do not want this guy anywhere near the White House. So, what's more likely? What's more likely? You've been lied to again, or we already have the information? DC's DJA, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing? I'm on your side. I just kind of want to bring this up so that people understand. She's actually misusing the information that she presented to the people. She's talking about. Of course she is. And I think that not enough people are talking about that. The pure simple thing they need to see is what she's addressing is the attack on the infrastructure, on the voting machines, on actually, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but actually what everybody is claiming that Elon Musk did is what that report says you need to do to infiltrate these machines. If you were going to get into the vote count, you had to do it in specific precincts and actually get in contact with this stuff. But I'm kind of getting away from the subject. I would like people like you and everybody else that are doing these lives, thank you first off, is to kind of push that into that as well. That it is so frustrating to see it in live time, them switching the story on people, presenting evidence that has nothing to do with what she's talking about, but kind of has something to do with what she's talking about, but nobody can. That's
conflating. It's conflating a whole bunch of different shit. No, you're right. You're right. All right.
Thanks for what you do, man. That's all I wanted to say. Appreciate you.
You got it, bro. Thanks a lot for being here. Appreciate it. So this is the summary. The claim that Obama ordered Trump Tower wiretaps. False. No evidence. Claim that Obama orchestrated Russia probe. False. No evidence of direct involvement. Claim Obama officials unmasked Trump allies illegally. Verdict. Legal and routine. No misconduct, as reported by the NSA. Flynn was a setup. That was the claim. Verdict. Interview justified by the FBI investigation and the fact that he was convicted and then pardoned by Donald Trump. And then the big one, the claim that Obama interfered in the 2016 election. There is no evidence of that. Most interference came from Russia, not the Obama administration. So I know it's so hard to have to deal with the Epstein shit every single day. But guess what? I'm going to talk about it every single day. Because people like our previous guest, not the last one, but the previous guest, are delusional. Oh yeah, what do you think about your boy? What are the details of the case? Oh, I don't know, but he's guilty. It's fucking wild. It's so wild. It's crazy. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Michelle, are you there? Michelle? Michelle, my bell, are you there? I guess not. Okay. What's my source? My source is the Mueller report. My source is the Senate Intelligence Committee report. My source is the Horowitz report. My source is the Durham report. I'll confirm the same thing. That's the source. That's it. What else would you like? Would you like the Magic 8 Ball? Would you like tea leaves? Or do you just believe Tulsi Gabbard? Right. Don't believe me. Just go and read the Mueller report. Just do that. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Because this is crazy. I think I went through it yesterday. Just briefly, okay? Just briefly. Let's just do this because it's necessary. Because the Mueller report summarizes everything, and don't forget it was reported during the Trump administration. So this is the data, okay? Special counsel investigation uncovered extensive criminal activity. The investigation produced 37 indictments, 7 guilty pleas or convictions, and compelling evidence that the president obstructed justice on multiple occasions. Mueller also uncovered and referred 14 criminal matters to other departments including the Department of Justice. Russia engaged in extensive attacks on the U.S. election systems in 2016. Russian interference in the 2016 election was sweeping and systemic. Major attack avenues included a social media information warfare campaign that favored candidate Trump, and the hacking of Clinton campaign-related databases and the release of stolen materials through Russia-created entities and WikiLeaks. Russia also targeted databases in many states related to administering elections, gaining access to information from millions of registered voters. In 2015 and 2016, Michael Cohen pursued hotel residence properties in Moscow. Senior members of the Trump campaign, including Paul Manafort, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, took a June 9th, 2016 meeting with Russian nationals at Trump Tower. Beginning in June 2016, a Trump associate forecast to senior campaign officials that WikiLeaks would release information damaging Hillary Clinton. Report described multiple occasions where Trump associates lied to investigators. Report contains no evidence that any Trump campaign officials reported their contacts with Russia. So they were contacted. They didn't let anybody know. They're supposed to. The Mueller report states that the special counsel's office felt that they could clear the president of wrongdoing. They would have said so. That's the whole fucking story. Confirmed by the Durham report. Confirmed in the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee report. That's the whole story. There is nothing else there. Okay? Now, if you appreciate that breakdown, my pay apps are out there. It's just so wild to me, to the lengths that people will go. So I was curious about this. So I did a little experiment on ChatGPT. I've been using it a little bit more lately because I like the way it summarizes, but I'm very critical. So when I get a report, I immediately go to the source and then read the source. So I'm not 100% all in, but I've used it. So then you have to kind of reset it. So I asked a question, basically if it could just remove what it knows about me specifically, and then like how do I still have it? Wait. I think I still have it here. Hold on. Did I lose it? Here we go. It's right here. Okay. I asked ChatGPT some questions to kind of forget that it knows me, basically. And I was just curious about some of what ChatGPT would say based on questions specifically as it relates to Trump voters. So I asked this question. Do you think Trump acts and legislates with the best interest of his followers in mind? Okay? And this is the summary. Trump legislates with his supporters in mind, particularly on taxes and immigration, but those actions don't deliver those actions don't deliver the net benefits. And that depends on individual circumstances. Families may enjoy tax savings initially, but others might experience hardship from welfare cuts. The long-term effects on state budgets, public services, and the federal deficit could also reshape how best interest ultimately plays out. So that's an objective response, right? So yes, he stands up there and tells people what they want to hear, but then the actions and the results do not match up with what the promises are made. So that's an example. It's another question I asked. Do you think Trump is fighting for forgotten Americans, as he claims? This is the summary. Trump does speak to the grievances of forgotten Americans in ways few politicians have. I would agree with that. He acknowledges their anger and fear, channels it effectively, and frames himself as their voice in a hostile system that is powerful and real. But most of his legislative choices, budget priorities, and personal behaviors favor the wealthy and well-connected more than the truly forgotten. His policies often deliver symbolism and cultural validation more than the material improvements that he promised. Right? So, again, objective. Why do those loyal, forgotten Americans that he claims to support not abandon him? That's the big question. This is the summary. Trump earned a legitimate... Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Where is it? Right here. Trump's bond with loyal, forgotten Americans is not primarily about legislation. It's about belonging. It's about identity. And it's resentment toward a system that they were told has abandoned them. As long as Trump continues to validate their anger and signal that he's on their side in the culture war, many will stick with him even if their material conditions don't improve. I thought that was an interesting exercise, right? I just think that was a really interesting exercise to kind of go through, and I might do more about that. But it's everything that we know, so I'm not surprised by the results because this entire cult is based on emotion. Now, I would agree that he is really good, or was, not so much anymore, at speaking to people. His charisma, his ability to fire up a crowd, those are learned skills. So he's good in that space. And that's what's happened, is that we now are in a world that no matter what he says, because he's gotten so many people to trust him, as long as he keeps bringing back, as long as he brings up the black man, as long as he brings up immigrants, as long as he diminishes the LGBTQI community, especially the T community, as long as he continues to diminish women, his supporters, which are primarily white men, will always be there for him. Always. So that's an uphill fight for all of us, because there's no messenger on the left that, I'm going to be careful how I say this. There's no messenger yet on the left that can resonate with a crowd like he does. Obama did it. Honestly, he's realizing he made a mistake learning from it. Yeah, Obama did it. And I think Gavin Newsom has the potential to do it. I think Pete Buttigieg is very intellectual, but doesn't have that same charismatic approach to fire up a crowd, right? So I think that's part of this exercise that we'll have to go through. I don't know what. Well, I think about guests like John. You know, it doesn't matter, as we learned, it doesn't matter when you break down everything, and even the fact that he went so far as to agree that investing in low-income housing and providing first-time homeowners the ability to get in the game, because anybody who's ever bought a house, you know that once you're in, you're in. As long as you make your mortgage payments, your property value is going to go up. You're always going to have equity in your home. It's still the best investment you can make, right? As long as you're in. The hard part for many people is that down payment. I remember when I bought my house, was like, man, oh man, you're scraping 2 matches together and you're like, God, I'm like $11 short. It's always the barrier to entry. So why would we not want to create those scenarios? So then, again, agreed, but then when you connect it to Kamala Harris's policy, well, that's the government. That's why we think you're a misogynist and racist. So I fucking own that shit. Whatever. So when you compare, we cannot discuss policy with the right because they won't go there, right? We can't discuss, the impact of horrible economic policies with their guy because he's convinced them that tariffs are what's better for everybody. They're not. We know that. So the question is, how do we move forward for this? And I don't know, right? I don't know the answer. All I know is that we're going to talk about his criminality and his connections to this list every single day. I can't help people. I can only help people get so far down the road. I'm going to do my best, though. All right, let me just real quickly check here a couple things. Benita, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Benita, for your $12. Also, Alicia, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you. Angela, Jolie, thank you guys. You're awesome people. Appreciate you very, very much. And Marissa, thank you. Appreciate you guys. We are still marching towards this. Don't forget, we are crowdfunded here. Quick math, 28. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so either by subscribing and or gifting. Don't forget, we have a gifting goal, and we are on our backup today. So if you don't follow me here, please consider following me here. Okay, I wanted to talk about this the other day because there's a few things that I think we have not discussed enough in regards to the big, bold, beautiful piece of shit bill. And a lot of that has to do with energy policy. Now, one of the, from my perspective, one of the main drivers of the the Biden era economic agenda was the infrastructure bill. And I don't think it gets talked about enough. The infrastructure bill, in coordination with the Chips and Science Act, created a lot of energy regarding domestic manufacturing, right? Because again, the promise that the Trump administration has made is to, bring manufacturing jobs. But it wasn't widgets. It was the next phase of investments in sustainable energy. So what the Trump administration has done, because they don't want to have anything connected to anything connected to the Green New Deal is that they changed and reappropriated fundings or cut programs connected to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the exercise and the damage that this program has done. I should say the damage that the Trump administration is attempting to do to the future of manufacturing jobs in our country. Now, the problem is that he has convinced people that investment in sustainable energy programs, the Green New Deal, are bad. Well, they're not. I guess it's the easiest way to tell you. So this is what was addressed specifically as it relates to climate change policies and EV specific in the big, beautiful piece of shit bill. So climate energy provisions, rollback of clean energy incentives. The bill phases out key tax credits from the Inflation Reduction Act, including support for wind and solar projects, electric vehicles, heat pumps, and energy efficient home upgrades. Why? Why? These things, especially the energy efficient home upgrades and heat pumps, these are things that really seriously impacts middle class voters, middle class and lower class voters, right? Especially in northern climates. Why would you want to do it? Oh, I know. So you can provide dividends and deferences to big oil. Cool. Also, in the BBB, increased scrutiny for renewables. The Interior Department now requires 69 extra federal reviews for wind and solar projects on public lands and waters, slowing project timelines. Why? 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 Executive rollback of climate commitments. On his first day back in office, Trump issued an executive order withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Agreement, making this his second withdrawal. Did it the first time. Joe Biden got us back in. Trump pulls us out again. Why? Prioritizing fossil fuels. The legislation favors coal, gas, and nuclear, emphasizing reliable baseload power while cutting support for clean energy. Coal? Coal? You truly want to be energy independent? Then you got to be moving away from things like oil and natural gas, right? Because if we truly want to be energy independent, we have the capability to never have to worry about exporting any energy and or importing any energy again. We can just do it here. Yeah, right. Clean coal. Makes no sense. Mandating fossil fuel leases. It requires the Bureau of Land Management to hold quarterly onshore oil and gas lease sales. Basically saying to the oil and gas industry, we want you to drill more. We want you to do more when we're already breaking records. We were under the Biden administration. Again, why? Environmental impacts and projections. A spike in CO2 emissions. Analysts estimate the rollbacks will add an extra 7 billion tons of CO2 by 2030, undermining U.S. emission reduction targets. Part of the Biden administration, this goes back to Obama, was reducing our carbon emissions over the next 2 decades. So all that progress we made, gone. Increased household costs. As clean energy fades, Americans could face an additional $110 per year in electricity, in some states rising over $200. Because again, you're cutting programs that alternative energy and sustainable energy programs were providing lower cost electricity to a lot of homes in America. Why? This is all about follow the money, friends. This is all about the oil and gas lobby wanting more money and getting in Trump's ear. Why? Global leadership decline. With this shift, the U.S. lags behind. We already lag woefully behind Europe and China in regards to climate action, diminishing geopolitical influence, right? We cannot say that we want to be the leaders. Instead, we're just losing ground. Budget first agenda. The OBBBA, the big beautiful bill, massive $4 trillion tax cut with $150 billion in additional military funded by reversing climate and clean energy tax breaks. Follow the money. And then the CBO warns the bill will increase the national deficit between $2.8 and $3.4 trillion over a decade. So why? Here's the problem. Okay. China is lapping us in so many areas, in so many initiatives regarding the investment in technology, the investment in innovation. So this is basically what I did here. So I wanted to say, first of all, let's talk about what's in the One Big Beautiful Bill. We got those summaries right from the page. I asked Grok to do the summary from the bill. That's what I just got. And then this is now what China's doing to invest in some of the same programs that the One Big Beautiful Bill just cut. Domestic investment and capacity. Record-breaking clean energy spending. In 2024, China invested over $625 billion US dollars in clean energy programs, more than doubling its 2015 figure and accounting for 29% of global clean energy investment. Now, we know that China were polluters. They addressed it by cutting their emissions by 29%. Cool. Massive build-outs in solar and wind. China added 198 gigawatts of solar and 46 gigawatts of wind in the first 5 months of 2025, enough to power entire nations like Indonesia. I want to see if I can find that sound real quick, because what Mr. Trump said was that China talks a good game about wind farms, but they don't have any. They actually have more than any, they actually have more than any nation on earth. So he's wrong about that. Installed capacity now exceeds 1,000 gigawatts of solar, about half of the global total. Wind and solar contributions contributed 26% of electricity generated, the first time renewables reached this share for any one country. Energy storage boom. China's energy storage capacity rose nearly fourfold in 2023, reaching 31 gigawatts, supported by a $14 billion investment in US dollars. Hydropower mega projects. Construction has begun on the mega dam cascade on the Yangsangpo River in Tibet, expected to generate 30 billion kilowatt hours annually, making it the largest hydropower complex globally. I got more of these. So China has been waiting for the U.S. to stop attempting to be the leader. In fact, they never even waited. They just said, they can't get their shit together. We're going to do this on our own. The EU has passed us. China has passed us. Not only have they passed us under current conditions, now because of all these cuts to these programs, we are lagging behind. This affects the future, because my own Secretary of Labor did a little bit of research overnight last night, and a lot of the jobs that have been created in our country over the past 10 years have been in what field, friends? Sustainable energies and renewables. A big investment. A lot of jobs created. That was part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, and the CHIPS and Science Act. Factories being built to produce these green energy programs and technologies. Yeah, we know that there's libs and dems on that list too. So what's the point? What's that smell? We know. We want it all released, right? See what I mean? That's not a flex, my guy. That's not a flex. We don't give a fuck. We want them all exposed. Anyway, stay focused. So I'm going to give you some examples of what China is doing in regard to technology. I've talked about BYD, their auto manufacturer. Okay. Contemporary Amperex Technology, or CATL, is the largest EV battery maker in the world. They pioneered LMFP, which is lithium, manganese, iron phosphate in 2023. It's cheaper and safer than traditional lithium ion. They introduced the Q-Lin battery, capable of 620 miles of range and a 10-minute fast charge. 620 miles of range. You can charge it fully in 10 minutes. BYD, this is Build Your Dreams. This is their car. The world's top-selling EV manufacturer, surpassed Tesla in Q4 2023, fully integrated, makes its own batteries and its own chips, introduced the Blade battery, designed to reduce fire risk and optimize for safety and lifespan, developed vehicle-to-grid and or VTG technology and bi-directional charging tech, exporting aggressively to Europe, Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa. Where's the U.S.? Not in there. LONGi Solar, world's largest solar panel manufacturer, introduced high-efficiency monocrystalline panels, 24% conversion rate, meaning that they're rolling out this across the country. I think it's 29% now. Up to 29% of energy generated comes from wind and solar in China. pushing green hydrogen integration with solar fields. Developed TOPCon and heterojunction solar cells, producing flexible and bifacial solar panels for rooftops and large-scale farms. You get the idea. Okay? They are kicking our ass in technology. Kicking our ass. We talked about this in terms of the USAID, soft power, right? When you remove your presence in the world from a humanitarian perspective, now we know that they've burned food and contraceptives, pulling us out of UNESCO, all these kinds of things. That's America first? You guys are confused. See, if I were driving the bus economically and I wanted it to truly be America first, I would say, what is China doing? Now, how are they kicking our ass? And I'm going to invest so that the United States is the leader in the things that China is. They are kicking our ass. And it's not even close. And here you guys are, the conservative right, focused on what? Trans women? The Democrats, the libs? You guys just don't get it. You just don't get it. You don't get it. It's just wild to me that you have been lied to for so long about China being the threat. China's the threat because they're kicking our fucking ass in technology. Hey, Toodle, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, dobre utro, everybody. Another fine day in the USSRA. I was on vacation for a week and a half. Did I miss anything?
Oh, no, nothing to see here. No, it's all good. Nothing.
Something about
just normal day in the life.
Something about a Mepstein or something? I don't know.
Some guy, they used to be friends, it's just nothing to see.
And some CEO getting frisky at a Coldplay concert, I think. That's about it.
How come we know more? By the way, how come we know more about those two people than we do about the guy who tried to take Trump's life in Butler, PA? How come we know more about those individuals, their backgrounds, their careers, what they did in their corporations? How come we knew more about them in 3 days than we know about the guy who attempted to take Trump's life over a year ago? Why is that? It's weird, right?
Maybe because it was funnier. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Funny.
Which is funnier? I don't know. Which you want to attach that to?
I don't know.
There was a crazy video that came out recently of the attempt, quote unquote, that showed like a different angle. I don't know if you saw that. Where
with the photographers out in front.
Yeah, they go and grab the photographers, set them up, and then they move the crane to get the flag in the right position. And
Yep.
That's why we have heard.
But nothing to see here, right? Nothing to see.
Nope. No, I came to pile on the environmental aspect. Since you're diving in there, I think it was just reported yesterday that now the EPA wants to remove the underlying decision that greenhouse gases are caused by pollution are the cause of climate change. So they want to completely remove the entire ability to regulate greenhouse gases for power plants and for cars completely. Yay. And that's, of course, that's on top of the other regulation cuts to put all the money into the hands of the oil barons, which is really useless because you probably even mentioned it. The prices of solar and wind are like something like 40% less than coal and natural gas.
Exactly. And you know what, Toodle? You know who some of the biggest investors are in China's sustainable energy programs? That would be United States oil manufacturers and oil companies.
Yeah, they're getting money on both ends.
They are some of the largest investors in China's infrastructure to roll out their sustainable energy programs.
That's crazy.
Wild, right?
Completely crazy.
Wild. So fucking wild. Elon Musk and others, and some of the billionaire technocrats, some of the largest individual investors in China's sustainable energy future. It's just wild that people don't know that. which is why we talk about it.
Yeah, Musk got his gigafactory over there with his, the world's largest battery factory, and I think even though BYD has taken #1 spot, I think Tesla still is #2 in China. They recently were #1, so they're getting over it. But you asked why. Why are they doing this? I mean, we do know that, of course, it's to pad the pockets of their big oil investors. But it just speaks to the general, we're going to destroy the liberal government and get rid of business regulations and put the power in the hands of the few. And for us that are suffering from, pollution related diseases, etc., the only thing we can do is we can appeal to the authoritarian later on. Please help us, dear leader.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, and I did want to say, because I don't think you mentioned it today, but you do want to get into the White House for a press position.
I'm trying, man. I stopped trying for a while because I got tired of being told no.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but you do have to give up. I have my sister-in-law. She works for a news organization in the White House, and I asked her about that. I say, can you get my friend in here? She's like, nope. They only take right-wing people.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about creating an entire new persona, but I felt dirty even thinking about it. But I'm not going to do that. So.
Would that be facts don't matter?
It would be something about how I'd be like Trump taint sniffer. I'm not even sure if that is an available username.
Feeling over facts, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, own the libs, something like that. But
and just wear a mask. But yeah, well, keep doing what you're doing. We're on the backup account, and I was in the live before it got bounced because of idiots.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. That could have been me. I might have. Who knows? I might have said something inappropriate. But
I doubt it. I tried to send all the gifts and everything, but it just didn't save you. I'm sorry.
It's okay, buddy. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for being here.
Have a great one.
You too. See you, man. Okay. I think you have a couple other people in the guest box. Yeah, let me bring up okay. Oh, it's Hector. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. What's on your mind today?
I gotta ask, man. Have you been naughty? Why does this say 2.0?
Yeah, we got slapped this morning.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it was me. I have a feeling it was some people that might have been a little bit triggered about certain things. I mean, you have no idea what I'm talking about there, right?
Nope, no idea whatsoever. None whatsoever.
I have to follow you from here because I don't think I have followed you from here, but I have now. Okay.
Oh, good. It's
What's going on? What's going on there, sir? By the way, friends, if you don't follow Hector, please do. For the soothing voice alone, it's worth the follow.
Much appreciated. I was actually going to say, just last night, Erica Shante also got a ban for talking about the ketchup situation and the pad. So they're hyper vigilant about any conversations around that topic, which is super interesting. But yes, I did see that video where the flag was lowered and the photographers went out. And I think I'm going to host an entire live and encourage other people to do so if they can, just where we just go back and forth with Trump supporters. We just show them the video because I don't think a lot of them have actually seen it. But I also wanted to ask you, what do you think about, I'm even seeing some people on the left say that the files are a distraction from all the other terrible things he's been doing.
Well, I'm interesting. I think part of the entire strategy, and we can go by what Steve Bannon had said about how it's muzzle velocity of mis and disinformation. We're going to throw a whole bunch of shit out there and then sneak things through that we want to sneak through. I think that's part of it. But I think this one is a little bit different because they built a lot of their base on the Epstein list and exposing the deep state. So I don't necessarily think I hear what you're saying. I wouldn't put this in the same category. Like I wouldn't put, like we can think about what are some of the things, like, some of the USAID stuff and some of the cuts to the Department of Education, then they're doing something nefarious in the background or trying to deflect away from Signalgate when that whole controversy came up by, attacking Iran, for example. I don't necessarily put this in that same category, but everything's a distraction, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with you, by the way. I heard that take from a few people, and I'm like, I understand the importance of being vigilant and staying on top of as much things as we can, but
right.
Playing into that
exhausting.
Yeah, we're actively choosing to let him get away with this blatant 360, basically.
Correct.
Or 180, I should say. He's pulled on these files. And I want everyone to remember he fired the previous, what's her name, who was on the case. Immediately after all this controversy started up.
Maureen Comey.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So it's just, don't let up. None of us should let up at all. Do our best to keep up with everything, but do not let up. It's getting to the point now where we're seeing prominent Republicans in Congress going, hey, release the files. They voted against it, but still, it's better than nothing.
So, Hector, because I have a feeling, so just as a reminder, friends, and again, I'm not sure if you saw the comments, but everybody is soothed by your voice. So thank you for calming all of us down this morning, my friend. I appreciate you. I don't see how anybody could ever, I don't know if when this vote comes to the floor, because it will, because there's the discharge process, which just requires anybody could submit notice for discharge, and it just requires a majority. And Thomas Massey has said full on that he's going to get the signatures, and it seems like that's very likely, which then takes it out of the speaker's hand, which means it has to go to the floor for a vote. If it's not 435 to 0, meaning that everybody in the House should be saying, we want everything that's available to us, how are people going to try to defend that away? You know what I mean? Like, this seems to be something that there's enough of an appetite for, even for members of Congress, even though they're going to try the semantic argument to say, oh yeah, we want transparency, but we got to let the process work itself out. When that bill comes to the floor and it's not unanimous, people are going to have to do a lot of explaining. Know what I mean?
Very much so. I was actually, I was under the belief that we're basically going to have a repeat of the last couple of votes. We need that majority to get it out, but I truly believe most of the Republicans are going to do the same thing. But I hope I'm wrong. Because I just don't understand why Thomas Massey was now trying to pair up with Ro Khanna and be like, yeah, I want to get it released, when he had an initial chance to vote and get it released.
Well, that's a little bit different. So what they were talking about, that had to do with that vote that went when every Republican voted against. That was I can't think of the term for it, but that basically would have authorized or given the ability for the Democrats to set the agenda. So it wasn't a straight vote on whether or not the Epstein files should be released. It had to do with a procedural motion in regards to who gets to set the agenda on the floor. So it's not, I just want to make sure people understand it wasn't specifically a vote regarding the Epstein files. The issue, though, we can point to the Rules Committee for not wanting to introduce legislation specifically to address the Epstein files. That's something separate. But I know what you're talking about. I just want to make sure people understand that it wasn't a yes-no vote on whether or not the Epstein files should be released.
That makes sense. Okay. And I do remember, yeah, particularly in the Rules Committee, that was the one where only one of them said yes. Yeah.
That was bullshit. That was total bullshit. Yeah. But I mean, again, to your point about distractions, like obviously we know Tulsi Gabbard and the whole, let's blame the black man, because that's whenever Trump's in trouble, he really leans in on Obama. He really does. So that's the distraction, right? And we've already seen people in the live this morning being like, yeah, what about Obama? Your boy's going down. I'm like, what's he going down for? Well, I don't know, but he's going down. Okay.
No different from what they tried to do with Hillary, and then he got in the office and said, oh, that would be such a terrible thing to go after a previous president's wife. He had nothing.
So true. So true. You're so right about that.
And on that note, man, we'll see. I'm just losing a lot of faith in our government process right now, but we will see.
It's always good to talk to you, buddy. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you, man. Also, y'all make sure that you support this beautiful man. He's doing this most days in the week. All right. And he does fantastic content. It isn't the contentious debate space and stuff. He's just here to educate. He's here to teach. And he does it so well, so soothing. So please support the creators on this side of the aisle who are really doing the work and are doing it with kindness and empathy and coming from a place of authenticity. Just support this man. Throw everything at him. For a split second, I'm going to get a little raunchy. For a split second, just imagine Steve is in a particular club, okay? And all the coins that you have are dollar bills. Just throw it. Just throw it. Love you,
dude,
brother.
You're awesome. I love you too, man. See you later. Take care.
Right, take it easy.
That's great. A particular club? No. Me? No. Thank you, Andrew. Love you, buddy. Okay, so I'm glad he said what he said because we do this every day, and I made a commitment that I will talk about this case every single day because it's necessary. Because again, the House is not going to be in session until after Labor Day. Mike Johnson, the coward, sent them home early. Am I zen? I am fucking zen. And Equity said, thank you for asking. Mike Johnson sent the House home early. Thomas Massey's gone out publicly and said, we're not going to forget about this. And we're not going to forget about it either. So we will be following this case as more information becomes available. More and more witnesses are becoming available. In fact, I want to play some sound from Maria Farmer, who was one of the people that was one of the victims, alleged victims in this case. She was interviewed, and a lot more people. These are the people that I want to hear from. I don't want to hear from Ghislaine Maxwell, the fucking predator. I don't want to hear from her. I'm not interested in hearing from her. I don't want her to give any kind of clout. I want her to rot in fucking jail. I don't want to hear from her. If we had believed women from the very beginning, we wouldn't be in this position at all, just in general. If we just believed women, we wouldn't be here, right? So I'm going to play you the sound from Maria. Her name is Maria Farmer, okay?
Before I went in, before I began working for Epstein, he called me at very late in the evening and asked me to come up to the Helmsley Palace offices. And I didn't even have money for a subway token. It's kind of embarrassing. So I had to go running up there. And so I told Epstein, I'll be up there. It'll probably take me until like 9. He's like, okay. So I get there and I'm waiting. It's dark. Like there's no light on in the offices. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm seated against the wall in the main part of the offices and just waiting for Epstein. And he says, I'll be out in a minute, and he's got the door closed. And then a few minutes later, this man walks in a business suit, kind of tall, imposing. And I immediately was like, that's Donald Trump. What's he doing here? I'm supposed to be working for Epstein and interviewing with him. Why is Donald Trump here? And he walked up about, a few feet from me and just stood over me in a very imposing way and looked at me like he was in on some secret or something. It was really weird, like smirking kind of. And I felt threatened, so I made an ugly face. And when I made that ugly face, Epstein walked out from the offices on this side. Trump's standing here, I'm here. And he walks out of his office and he goes, oh, no. He was laughing at me. And he goes, she's not here for you. Follow me, right? And he escorts him in to this other room. And I always wondered, who was she in there? Was someone in there, right? And I have no way of knowing, nothing. But I felt very intimidated because I had on running shorts and I was vulnerable, sweaty, just a nobody in an office with these two men. That it felt very predatory and uncomfortable. I have to say that when I made that ugly face, he backed off. It wasn't like he was aggressive after that, but he made a really vulgar comment following. And I don't know if it was like, like locker room talk in the 90s, the way men were, but he made a joke to Epstein, oh, I thought she was 16. And I thought that was so strange because at the time my sister she was 15 actually. And I didn't think it was funny.
How close were they as far as you were able to tell?
Well, like Epstein said, he inherited him in the divorce. You know, he said, basically, you're going to see us together all the time. We're fixtures because in the divorce, I inherited Trump and Ghislaine inherited Ivana. So he said, you're not going to see him at the house the way you see Ivana, and you're not going to see her at the offices the way you see Trump. And, you know, it was just, it was a known thing, like among the staff and everyone, that they were best friends. And Epstein bragged about it.
Maria, when we reached out to the White House for a comment, they responded, and I'll just read for you what they said.
Okay.
Quote, the president was never in Epstein's office. And in fact, the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep. They then say that.
Remember, that's their go-to line now, is that Donald Trump ended the relationship because Jeffrey Epstein was a creep. Okay, that's the line that they're going to go to. Doesn't matter that all these things happened that he was part of long before he made any kind of statement, because the only person who says that Jeffrey Epstein was kicked out for being a creep is Donald Trump. Okay.
Trump, they're clear there. They say he was never in Epstein's office, which, of course, from the original incident that you're talking about is where this occurred, according to your recollection, at the Helmsley building in New York.
He was absolutely in the offices.
So these are the people that we want to hear from, right? As Hector and I were just talking about, when the discharge petition hits the floor and you get 218 votes, which is all you need, then that bill goes to the floor and there's nothing Mike Johnson can do about it. When that bill goes to the floor, right, it should be 435-0. Now, I'm concerned from a timing perspective because at the end of September 30th, the government runs out of money. So that means another continuing resolution will need to be signed. And thank you, fucking Chuck Schumer, you piece of shit. You're the one who pulled Senate Democrats together to support a continuing resolution that was signed back in February, which we were angry about, that you shouldn't have done. Well, here we are again. So I worry that negotiations will happen to include language of a continuing resolution in a bill, right, that requires them to open up the Epstein files. And then if Democrats don't vote for the continuing resolution, then the right will say, see, Democrats don't want the information to come out. What are they protecting? These are the kinds of things that I look ahead to. I got you. Okay. I got you. I'm hoping, because there is a period of time. It only takes 30 days of legislative days for a discharge petition to happen. So we are now at a point where the legislative calendar has started last week. So I don't know if it's going to give us enough time to get to that 30-day legislative window to allow that discharge petition to happen. Could be part of Mike Johnson's strategy to have the House closed 2 days early. And that's why we want to look to Thomas Massie to say, are you watching this? Because he's already gone on the record to saying, we're not going to stop. So that's something to keep in mind. Can't be the party of transparency. Can't say we want all the information to go out there. Can't say that we are protecting the victims' voices. If you're protecting the victims' voices, some of the victims, including the woman we just listened to, Maria Farmer, said, I'll testify. I'll go that. I'll sit in front of Congress. I'll take an oath. It is the biggest presidential scandal that I've ever seen. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to play. I'll wrap up. I'm going to talk about UNESCO in just a moment. So we got to watch this, right? Like I said, we're going to talk about it every single day because there's a lot to do. Just because the House is not going to be in session because Mike Johnson's a fucking coward and ran from accountability doesn't mean that we're going to stop talking about it, because we're not. All right, I want to play a little sound from Gummy.
The entire economy has become hyper.
From Gummy Boy, Charlie Kirk. And big shout out to my Secretary of Labor, Jess, who did a lot of work last night pulling this together. I don't normally like to platform Charlie Kirk, but I think this is necessary because as we're talking about fractures within the manosphere, the support for Donald Trump, he is one of the major reasons that we have a manosphere is because of what he does on college campuses, right? One of the biggest themes of Charlie Kirk's attack on education is that he feels that college is a scam. Okay? Charlie Kirk is a scam. So I'll play the sound for you, and then we can talk about the work that we did to kind of combat what he's claiming. All right, here you go.
Entire economy has become hyper-feminized. The education system has become hyper-feminized. But you think about, what are the jobs that have had the greatest emphasis of the credentialing, which basically is what college is. It's just a massive credentialing exercise. They're not the more masculine jobs that we need, which is like industrial engineering. They're HR managers. They're norm enforcers. A young man doesn't want to go be an HR manager. They would rather go to a WNBA game than be an HR manager. The push, the thrust the last decade has been, the growth has been in what we call pink collar jobs that men would rather sit at home and kind of just be, slovenly than be caught doing, because it's just so demeaning to how we as men are wired. They're not about creation or...
Oh, what happened? What happened? Hold on. Sorry, it's reloading.
Become hyper-feminized. The education system has become hyper-feminized. But you think about, what are the jobs that have had... It's a massive credentialing exercise. They're not the more masculine jobs that we need. A young man doesn't want to go be an HR manager. They would rather go to a WNBA game than be an HR manager. The push in the growth has been in what we call pink collar jobs that men would rather sit at home and kind of just be, slovenly than be caught doing, because it's just so demeaning to how we as men are wired. They're not about creation or risk taking or value proposition or boundary. Exactly. And you know why they're mom jobs? Because these women aren't moms.
Mom jobs.
These women play mom at work. Wow. Because they don't have kids at home.
That's dark, man.
It's true.
None of it's true. None of it is true. So what I'm going to do, again, thank you, Jess. We're going to look at some of the largest growth sectors over the last 20 years, because it's Charlie's claim that the growth is coming from pink jobs, mom jobs. I was thinking about myself personally. I have probably hired, I've probably hired 500 people in my life through my time, not only building my own company, 500. That's probably massive hiring, filling multiple positions at a time. It's got to be close to that. So I've helped people write resumes. I've helped people through interview coaching and things like that, right? So what he's talking about is just is that the bulk of the job hiring in the last 20 years has been in emerging industries. Examples, like we just, in particular, those jobs require advanced degrees in high tech, in AI, in cyber. Picture that the only jobs available are these pink collar jobs, and men, you don't need to go to college because you don't want those jobs. And again, hearts in the chat for Jess, please, because she did a lot of work on this. Healthcare field is currently dominating in 2025 and continues to grow rapidly with the new chronic conditions. Healthcare occupations grew by nearly 70% over the last 10 years. We are also currently seeing growth in healthcare support businesses, financial operations, transportation. We are seeing growth in technology, specifically data scientists, as AI and cybersecurity is advancing. Data scientist careers are projecting to grow 36%. Does that sound like pink collar jobs? Mom jobs, as he put it? Nope. That's just in the last 10 years. In healthcare, software engineering, computer systems, computer technology careers were the most popular during this time period, as it was driven by the fast-growing expansion in technology in everyday life
and business operating and applications, 97% growth in computer support, 90% increase in system software jobs, 82% in network administrator careers, 77%, 66% growth in database administration, 62% in home health care, 60% in systems and analyst jobs, 57% in growth. Do those jobs sound like you don't need a degree for? Now we can also be objective to say a lot of some of the specifics of these, but to make the claim that the bulk of jobs are HR managers, first of all, absolutely nothing, because of the fact that women are mistreated in the workplace. I've seen it. Marginalized communities are diminished in the workplace. We need more professional advanced degree. From 2006 to 2016, technology careers continue to grow rapidly as new technology emerged, such as the first iPhone. We saw major growth in software engineering. Projected growth was at 45%. Actual growth was closer to 65%. Healthcare dominated this time period as well due to many factors, such as a prevalent increase in chronic conditions. Point being, thank you, Jess. Point being, what Charlie Kirk just said is a blatant fucking are in technology, engineering, sophisticated innovation. And as we went through the exercise earlier about how the United States, because of the big, beautiful bill, in innovation and technology and manufacturing, now those jobs are not going to exist here. So then Charlie's argument for feminization of college, give me a fucking break. You're right, Sunshine, because Charlie knows his supporters sit in a room across the table with a moderated debate against Charlie Kirk. I'm a pretty humble guy. I would fucking I know it, you know it, and he knows it. It is a bold-faced fucking lie. Are required. We need to stop diminishing college educations. We need to stop complaining, or the worst part to me, the worst part of the whole thing to me is that you'll see people like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, and while they're standing in front of their diploma from said universities that are on the wall behind them. And then you get Charlie Kirk going in with Tucker Carlson. Hold on.
The entire economy has become hyper-feminized.
The entire economy. Okay. So are we then diminishing women who work in the trade? Are we saying that women who work, it might be manufacturing, mechanics? I had an oil change done yesterday by this person I've been going to for years. She's the best mechanic I have ever known. So hyper-feminized. So what Charlie thinks when he thinks hyper-feminized, we know what he thinks, right?
The education system has become hyper-feminized. But you think about, which basically is what college is, just a massive credentialing exercise. They're not the more masculine jobs that we need, which is like industrial engineering. He's
just where the jobs are coming from. they were coming from industries that are the future. See, what MAGA gets hung up on, this whole episode, back to America. Okay? Investments in infrastructure, investments in result of the Inflation Reduction Act, building out the grid, adding solar farms, adding charging stations. These are all jobs that are being created, and on the white collar side, but they're not pink collar jobs. And so I love pink. I would gladly wear a pink collar to work, Charlie. What we get is people up here today and yesterday in our live trying to own the libs by saying, oh, fuck. We don't care. I want to be a dentist. An advanced career, by the way. Hermie had to go to dental school. Friends, that's how far we are fallen. And to be honest, I'm kind of laughing at it a little bit. I must admit, because here we are now, right? You think it's owning the libs to say, well, your boy Obama, your boy Clinton, they're on the list. We're like, we don't give a fuck. We don't. We don't care. It's like we don't give a shit. We don't care. Obama did not. Whatever. And have you guys forgotten, by the way, for those of you who are calling for Obama's head, presidents have immunity. He was acting as to do that. So what's the point? Oh, I know, Boomer, there's Obama's on the list. I know that. I'm just saying that's the argument they're going to make. Right? Okay. I also want to address this because there's been a lot of talk about Project Esther.
To talk about it because of its connection to Project 2025 in particular. Project Esther is a policy initiative launched by the Heritage Foundation, a prominent conservative think tank, back in October of last year. It's framed as a national strategy to combat anti-Semitism. Its stated goal is to counter anti-Semitism and to ensure the security and prosperity of all Americans. However, critics argue that its true aim is to dismantle the pro-Palestinian movement in the U.S. by conflating legitimate criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism and by targeting organizations and individuals supporting Palestinian rights. It aims to achieve this by rebranding pro-Palestinian supporters as H-Support Networks, or HSN, and using various tactics to suppress their activism, including identifying and deporting foreign students and faculty who are pro-Palestinian activists, revoking visas and green cards based on pro-Palestinian speech, cutting federal funding to institutions accused of tolerating anti-Semitism, especially those with the Middle Eastern studies programs that are going to be perceived as biased, removing or firing pro-Palestinian faculty and staff, utilizing lawfare, including using counterterrorism laws, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FARA, and the Racketeer Influence Corruption Organizations and or RICO Act to target and undermine pro-P groups, monitoring social media for content deemed anti-Semitic, and pressuring universities to revamp academic departments seen as biased towards Palestinians. How, might you ask, does this connect with the Trump administration? Well, while Project Esther was released prior to the current administration, observers note a striking resemblance between its recommendations and actions taken by the Trump administration. For example, the administration has been accused of following Project Esther's blueprint by, remember the list that I just read to you, revoking visas of foreign students critical of Israel, check. pressuring universities to address anti-Semitism and review Middle Eastern studies programs, leading to consequences like funding cuts for Columbia University or Harvard, for example. Check. Taking steps towards deporting activists and limiting their ability to organize. Check. Victoria Coates, a former deputy national security advisor during Trump's first term and a vice president at the Heritage Foundation, oversees Project Esther. Again, her title, she's a former deputy national security advisor during Trump's first term and is a vice president at the Heritage Foundation. She oversees Project Esther. Project Esther has drawn significant criticism from civil liberties advocates, academic freedom defenders, and many Jewish organizations. Critics argue the project undermines free speech and academic freedom by conflating criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism and labeling pro-Palestinian organizations as terrorist supporters. So, what's the conclusion we're going to draw from this? Right? Is that fake news too? See, the problem is when you don't read, when you don't bother to try to connect the dots, which is why, again, shout out to my mods, best in the business. We try to connect the dots around here, right? So discussing Project Esther in a vacuum doesn't really do much. But when you draw direct comparisons to what's happening under Project 2025 and the Trump administration, then there's no way you can say that this doesn't exist. Columbia, Harvard, think about the assaults on individuals, their rights and their liberties at these universities for just speaking out, exercising their constitutionally protected rights, right? I have some sound from Marco Rubio that I want to play for you because I think it's relevant now. Do I have that still? I think I do. Because it applies. It perfectly points to exactly what we were just discussing. Marco Rubio has been very critical of people expressing their voices and their opinions on the floor of the Senate. He's talked about this. He's gone on record as the new, as the head of the the State Department. He's been super critical, specifically of a lot of the things that the administration has done in the past. Of course, what about Biden? I don't know if I have that sound anymore. Maybe I don't. But he's been leading the charge. He's been one of those people that has been most directly responsible for some of this rhetoric. Do I have it? I thought I had it. Maybe I don't. That's my apologies, guys. No, I don't have it. That's all right. I can talk through it. But when he was a critic of the Biden administration, when he was in the Senate, when he was a critic of them, when they were attempting to control some hate speech, right? Some of the hate speech, he was critical of them, saying people who are on college campuses should have a right to express their opinions no matter what it might be. And now that he's caught up into the fascist takeover of America through Project 2025, he is ultra critical. We're going to revoke your visas. Okay. Whatever. Whatever. That's fine. Nothing to see. All right. And then finally, before we end today, do I want to find this? Is this the one I want to get to?
Has the president just ordered the FBI?
No, I already played that for you. You don't need to hear more of her. Alina Habba. I think this is a great way to end the show today. So, Alina Habba, one of Donald Trump's attorneys that defended him, she's the one, by the way, who didn't check the box in the New York fraud trial. She's the one who used to defend parking garages for litigation. She's the one that was appointed by Donald Trump, appointed temporarily to serve as the U.S. attorney for the state of New Jersey. Well, now people are criticizing the judges in the courts in New Jersey for following the law. So here's the story. I'll just play the sound for you because this is fucking hilarious.
Hostages released from Gaza. That has been a top priority for this president. Within this 6 months, we have seen...
Yeah, fine, Caroline, whatever. You can shut the fuck up. I'm not interested in you. Caroline. Triple K. All right, here's the story.
News from New Jersey on Alina Habba. A panel of federal judges in New Jersey on Tuesday blocked Alina Habba from staying in the job as the state's interim U.S. attorney. How can they do that?
Oh, actually, the question is, they can do that very easily. The law entitles an attorney general to appoint somebody to a vacant U.S. attorney position, meaning one for which the president's nominee has not been Senate confirmed or there is no nominee, but that person can only stay in the job for 120 days. Alina Habba's 120 days expires today. The statute also says that the district judges in that particular district can appoint someone of their own to fill the vacancy until a presidentially nominated Senate confirmed person is available to go into that position. Today, the District of New Jersey's judges, through a standing order issued by their chief judge, appointed someone named Desiree Grace to become the U.S. serving as the first assistant to Alina Habba during her service as the interim U.S. attorney.
That's the story, friends. That's the story. So they're already spinning this. The judges are overstepping their boundaries. They are literally following the law. Her position was temporary. She got appointed to it. 120 days. Boom. Bondi didn't fire the appointee. That wasn't Bondi. No, that was. She didn't get fired. Her time expired because U.S. attorney positions are Senator confirmed and approved. So here we go. Anyway, we covered a lot today. We covered a lot. R.I.P. Ozzy. I want to remind you guys of a few things. First of all, coming up tomorrow, I have an interview, and I want to make sure. Hold on a second. It would be, I'm interviewing a congressional candidate from Florida. The interview's at 9:30. Shit, I had it and I lost my notes. Francis, hook me up. That's at 9:30 tomorrow. A little bit to, I'm not back, but we're always going to try to find time to interview candidates. Because that's what we're talking about the next direction that we go, pushing towards make sure that you guys know that we're going to talk about this scandal every single day. Bernard Taylor, thank you. Bernard Taylor, yes, thank you. Bernard Taylor, tomorrow morning at That'll be tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Our show will start at the normal time, but we'll pivot to our conversation. This is a scandal that we're going to cover. We're going to do our best to try to cover it the way in which we do. You know, I spend a lot of time trying to connect the pieces together. Again, we have the best mods in the business. There's no doubt about that. We also have the best chat. You guys are the smartest chat there is on TikTok, so I thank you for that. As we continue to get closer to election day, out to midterm elections, I'm going to be asking you guys, what are you going to be doing? I'm going to be asking you, what is the something that I implore you to do every single day? I'm going to be asking you, are you involved? Have you connected with your neighbors? Are they voting? You know, what's important to you? Are you going to town halls? Are you going and running for school board offices? Have you considered running for office? All these kinds of things. So get used to me bugging you. I appreciate you guys. Who are we going to raid? Who do you guys want to raid? Thank you. Appreciate that, Cheryl. Let me just real quickly just run down some names here. I want to thank some folks. Hector, my dude, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Erica's pet, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Also want to say thank you to Benita. Thank you to Alicia. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you over here for J. Arthur. I appreciate you so very, very much. Also, thank you, Hector, my dude, Linda, Angela, and Jolie. Thank you guys very, very much. If I win the appeal, we'll be back on the main tomorrow. Otherwise, I don't know. We're going to talk to Bernard tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. and go raid whoever you want. Olive is live. Go raid Olive. Thank you.